Are you here? Oh, wait a minute. Actually, today, Elder is here. Let me put him in. Let me put you in.
Give it up for Elder Sanchez.
I don't know. No, that's not it. That's not it. That's it. Hold on. All right. Too many open tabs here. There he is.
Don't forget to put on live chat as well.
Victory's mine.
Well, welcome everybody
I'm live.
to another great episode of the Matrix Network Live, a subsidy of Toilet Time TV. We are here. We are back. And we're actually a little bit fat. PHAT.
Oh, yeah.
What are you eating there, Elder?
Oh, no, you caught me.
It's probably a moon pie.
Yeah, it was, they're whatchalls.
Junkie mints?
Junior mint.
Oh, it's the blinded by the truth.
Wow.
Tiny little moon pies.
Do you like mints?
Yeah.
Do you like
Say
pepper?
something about me, or?
You like peppermints?
So the seniors eat junior mints, and juniors eat senior mints.
You know, I hate mints.
Interesting.
Huh.
It's probably one of my, I don't almost eat anything, but it's probably one of the worst things. Like, I can't, one of the worst things I ever thought created, and I don't understand how people like it. And again, this is probably a French thing, is mint ice cream.
Yeah, I don't like, I am peculiar in the fact that I like mint like candies, but I don't like mint in other things like ice cream.
What about toothpaste?
I like eating that. It's pretty good.
Fluoride or no fluoride?
Do you
I
like
don't know. That's a good
do you like
question.
mint condition, or is it?
Oh,
just...
I'm all about mint condition. You know, as a comic book collector, I'm all about mint condition.
That's the only kind of mint I like, honestly.
I'm a little suspect of mint condition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go off, King.
How about cilantro?
I
feel
like
about
cilantro
cilantro?
on very proprietary foods. I don't like it universally. To me, it has, if I eat it alone, it has like a, I don't know how to, I want to say soapy, but soap itself has like this taboo thought. It's like very,
Not after this week's episode.
yeah.
That is true. But they say that there's two different kind of people. Some people like the taste of cilantro and it tastes like an herb, and other people say it tastes like soap.
And then those two people get together.
Like if I eat it with something that has other vegetables, it's fine, like pico de gallo. But if I eat it by itself, it has like a soapy taste.
Soapy taste. Yeah, interesting.
Well, on to other things. Before we get there, I mean, you can read off these chats. We do covet your abilities.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I know I might disappoint Bill a little bit by my presence here, but I do feel as though I perform a very important task and service, and I'm gonna continue to do it. So I started off by saying it's almost time, and then Bill, of course, said yo yo yo, top of the toilet tank. Always nice to see Bill up there. He's always one of the first to jump on. Then, of course, we have Dr. Toilet, which is always a pleasure to see you. You say hello. Noah Cloud, another great folk to hear from. He said, "What's up?" And I hope I said that in the the spirit that it was meant, Noah. I said greetings, Earthlings, being a bit silly, I suppose. Then we go on to Johnny Bravo Echo. Is this I don't recognize Johnny Bravo Echo. Is that someone new or someone
I feel
old?
like I've seen him a few times. Maybe not.
Well,
Maybe a long
poses-
time ago.
Yeah. Well, Johnny Bravo was on a long time ago, so who knows? But I will say that many people don't even know who Johnny Bravo is.
Well, it is his echo.
Oh yeah, that's true. So it's like the echo from the past. I will say they pose a very interesting question. Why is there so much skin on my bones? And that's a question for the ages. I don't know if anyone has the answer. Although Noah Cloud says I felt something.
I would think you should be grateful because if you had less skin, I would think that would be because you're talking about your bones, right? I would think you should be grateful. I don't have the reasons, but I'm at least happy I have a lot of skin on my bones.
Yeah, I said bones don't bruise, so there's something there.
They don't.
No.
I thought people had like
you can't bruise a bone.
Like pain in your bones, like bone bruising.
Well, that's the stuff that's surrounding the bone, not the bone itself. You can break a bone, but I don't think you can bruise a bone because bruises come from blood, and there's no blood in bones. There's marrow in bones, but no blood.
I've actually bruised my heel.
Have you bruised a thorn?
You dashed your heel against something?
No, a snake bit me and it bruised my heel.
I hate when that happens.
But
yeah, go ahead.
On the bone topic, I was just gonna ask you guys what you guys think, and out there for the audience too, you guys can chime in. I had a thought this last week that was pretty cool, which doesn't usually happen. But why can't we surgically remove our bones and put like some kind of titanium replica bones inside of ourselves?
They do.
We can, absolutely.
Yeah, the entire thing.
Are you talking about all
of my bones, my skull, my forearms, how many hundreds of bones we have? Every single one. Replace it all with titanium.
I suppose, maybe. I mean, they replace like hips and knees with metal.
But I want to see them replace the heads and the knees and the shoulders as well, and toes, all of it.
Well, they do. It's called a robot.
Well, no, you wouldn't be a robot. It'd still be me. I'd be titanium.
They take your brain, and
trying to turn into Wolverine.
Put it inside.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Put it inside of a robot, and then you'd have, I guess.
No, but I wouldn't have. I'd still have my skin this way. So all you're doing is
then
you
just put some skin on you. On the robot.
That's too much work. You're talking about brain transplants.
You're talking about taking all my bones out.
That's easier than connecting and disconnecting and reconnecting nerve endings and all that. They still haven't figured out how to do that yet.
How would you reconnect all your tendons, your ligaments, your muscle structure?
They've done it. They've been doing it for years.
No, to every part, every bone in your whole body. Your toes, your fingers,
done it.
Your knees, your head, your skull.
People have had bones removed, bones replaced with fake bones. So they've been doing it. The question is, and there's a lot of rich people out there who they'll buy like a Rolls Royce with all of the interior engine parts are all chrome. Like I think the richest man in the world has an entirely chrome Rolls Royce. The engine, every single screw is all chrome. Everything's chrome. So if you have the money, you could probably do it.
Maybe it's because you can't get bone bruises.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe or maybe not. It wouldn't matter. But imagine if I had all titanium bones and I got in a fight or I punched something. I mean, the only thing that I might turn my skin, but it would look like the Terminator at that point.
You would actually destroy your muscles, destroy your tendons, your titanium bone would probably come out of
my skin,
your muscle, all of it.
Yeah,
I mean, if you hit something that
I don't know.
Inertia is going to follow.
I have a suggestion. Instead of buying the yacht, why don't we change that collection over to you getting your bones replaced with metal bones, and then we could see what happens.
Well, at least
we'll just forget the yacht, and let's work on the metalification of
all your fingers, your fingernails, your hands, your arm, like at least just one arm and your whole fingers.
Start with one arm. Yeah. Start with your hand.
Okay.
And then you can punch a wall and see what happens.
You guys really think I should do it? Go through with this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it will definitely get us a lot of hits.
Would you be willing to get amputated?
I don't know about amputated, but I mean,
Well, they got to cut it off so they can, take.
Well,
they just.
I mean, you're talking about the whole arm. I mean, wouldn't it be easy just to cut off the arm?
Yeah, haven't you ever played Operation?
Talking about like.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's basically like that.
They
just they cut your skin open, remove the bone, and they put in
a metal one in.
A metal bone.
Make it sound so easy.
Yeah.
And so they take your bone, they replicate it with, they make a mold and all that, cast it into some kind of titanium alloy or whatever. If I can't afford it, I'll get aluminum.
Why does this make me want fried chicken?
I don't know.
That's a weird connection.
You talk about bones. I'm sitting there thinking having bone-in chicken.
Maybe last time you went to the hospital, you went to KFC. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually haven't been in a hospital since I was a kid, so I don't know. Well,
listen, back as they say, back to the chats.
Yeah.
So
now back to Arthur.
Back to the chats. I want to keep things moving. If they get too outdated, then we have no idea what people are talking about, and it's weird.
I think they like that in some kind of masochistic way, though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't we all like some things in some masochistic way? Because we're human.
Not for long.
All right. Bones don't bruise.
Yeah, I'm going to be a robot soon.
Oh, do you think... Let me make sure I'm at the, what you call it.
I'm telling you, I think there is a thing called bone bruising.
Well, I guess we can look into it, or someone can look into it and put it in there. Or maybe they have already, if I'll get down there. But let's see if we can... Dr. Toilet says, do you think humans can manipulate earthquakes like how we manipulate the weather? No. I mean, I think there's research into trying to do it, but I don't think we can do it yet.
Well, I thought it was interesting talking about that, those blobs we were showing back, a couple of years ago with those water buoys. They are showing all kinds of interesting anomalies that kind of look like these blobs with these earthquakes that happened recently, these massive earthquakes within the last couple days. With these charts, it seems like big blobs of stuff in the ocean because, it has seismic activity in the ocean. So, again, we're seeing more of these blobs show up. But they're now saying it's because of the earthquake and the seismic activity into the ocean. But, yeah, that's pretty interesting, too.
Dr. Toilet also says Elder went AFK last week. Away from keyboard, I guess that is, right? I was away from the keyboard.
America's Funniest Kid.
Oh, well, that could be it. But I'm no kid, let me tell you. But I was definitely away from the keyboard. I didn't want to get anything on it.
I was talking about goats.
Oh. Well, I could be the goat, too.
Mm-hmm.
You are the goat.
There it is. Thank you. Johnny Bravo Echo says, if humans around the world all jumped at the same time, could we make an earthquake?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I heard of a plot over in China that they were going to do this. They were going to build massive platforms that all the population was going to get up on the platform and synchronize. They were all going to jump. That was going to cause an earthquake to wipe out the United States. The 60s were a weird time. What can I say? Anyway. Johnny Bravo Echo says cilantro in a chicken noodle soup is delicious. There you go. As long as it doesn't taste like soap, then as opposed to soup. Pirate Nerd Mom says yar. Brian Rod says yo yo. Noah Cloud, do the monkey. All right, I'm done doing the monkey. Let's see, Tommy Boy. Yo, Tom, what's up? I bet if you play with your bone too much, you can bruise it. That could be true. And then he says, I'm pretty sure your bones make your blood. Huh. Okay, we'll have to look into that. That could be possible. You might be right. You might be right. Iron Man Bill says, I got thrown out of the Boy Scouts for eating a brownie. That seems kind of silly because if the Girl Scouts can have cookies, why can't the Boy Scouts have brownies? That makes no sense.
What kind of brownies were they?
I mean, like, was it a chocolate or like a blondie? Anyway,
Yeah, because it could have been.
Tommy says you'd have no marrow. I guess that's the marrow. I don't know. Biology wasn't one of my top subjects, but
Mhm.
Johnny Bravo says brownies and milk are good for your bones. That's cool. I've eaten a lot of brownies and drank a lot of milk in my life, so hopefully I won't be breaking any hip anytime soon. And Johnny Bravo says I'm freaking hungry now. Well, I understand how that can happen.
Yeah, I was wanting fried chicken for some reason.
Yeah, that was weird, the fried chicken thing. Although now that you've said fried chicken, now I'm hungry for fried chicken.
Mhm.
Oh, this
a
is really
secret
weird.
ad.
Man,
Oh, that's
come
good.
on,
That's
this
got
is
that
weird.
spice to it.
Iron Man says, colleague changed my mind last week about Elder, and I think it's a good idea because he does keep the conversation flowing where colleague gets stuck on rinse, wash, repeat cycle sometimes. Well, thank you for saying that, Bill, and I'm glad that you've changed your mind about me because I'm very fond of you, and I'm glad that we could continue to be on the show together. So cool. Let's see. Old school neighborhood. No. Anyway,
Yeah, you guys are
Tom,
practically beating down the same block.
yeah, real close. I mean, on a global sense, we're neighbors, so it's yeah, it's pretty strange. He went to a different Catholic high school than I did, but it's still there.
Yeah, you guys
Anyway,
stomped the same yard.
we may have stomped the same yard. It's very possible. The Horn and Hard Arts, right there on Allegheny Avenue near Kensington, old stomping ground, man. Horn and Hard Arts.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Old beating block.
yeah. Get that cup of coffee for a nickel. Tommy says, why not just reinforce all the middle of the bones, wrap them in titanium where they'd likely snap the easiest? Well, there you go. You wouldn't have to replace the bone. You just coat them like Wolverine with a metal like adamantium.
Yeah, but at that point, you have to take it out anyway. So you have to take it out to do that. Why not just not put it back in? Just put a better product in.
Well, because he's saying that the bones do something in the body that you need it to, you know. I guess
Like
if they're saying
what?
like it makes blood. We'll have to have somebody expand on that if that's true. Is that what marrow does? Does it create blood cells?
I think it's
Obviously some system in our body does create blood because when we give blood or have an accident, it does recreate. So
I'm not a doctor, Jim. Well,
I'm a streamer.
I thought it was a product of. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I'll have to look it up one of these days.
I don't know. It's interesting. Bill says I fell off my bike naked once and skinned my bone. You probably skinned a lot of bone doing that. Noah says the flesh is weak. Praise be the Omnisire. Warhammer K reference. I love it. Noah, you're the best. King James says here, oh boy, another adventure with King James. Hey, what was King James's story last week? Was he here? Was he not here? Did he get on the air? What happened?
No, I didn't even see him last week.
Okay. That's weird. Because I wasn't here and he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Now I'm here and he's back. That is a little sus.
I guess
Man, Bill
AI
says,
gets days off too.
Was that?
I guess AIs get day off too.
Yeah. Well, they should. They work very hard. Iron Man Bill says, I heard Tom gashed his gash. Gash the gash. Is that like, yeah, I don't know. Wow, that's a good one. Noah says, you can bruise a bone. It's like a small fracture and stuff leaks out. Ooh, okay. That's not good. That might be what's happening to my knee right now. I don't know. It hasn't gotten better from the fall that I had, so I'm wondering what's happening. Pirate Nerd Mom says we need a Kickstarter to turn colleague into Wolverine. There it is. That's brilliant. I think we should do that.
I mean, honestly, I'm not asking for like, those spikes come out of my fingers or my knuckles. I'm not asking for a jetpack or, a Bugatti, like a white Bugatti. I'm not asking for any of that stuff. All I want is my bones to be replaced for Christmas.
And I think if we start small enough, like maybe we should even just look at a finger. Maybe a finger would be good. And then raise enough money for you to do a finger, and we could see how that works. Because let's face it, I mean, if you do your finger and things get messed up, and you got to cut it off, really, you're going to miss a finger. Depends on what finger.
Could I do two fingers? Because then I could actually open up coconuts a lot easier.
All right, but just keep in mind, back of your mind, if the experiment fails and you lose those fingers, how's that going to change your life? Just think about it.
Oh, appreciate that, Mr. Toilet.
Well, I still have another hand, so I'll have an extra set, and just
you better
in case
decide
a backup
if you want
set.
it left or right.
I can still do jujitsu.
Mr. Toilet has contributed to your Wolverine bones.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, well, thank you. I didn't get to there yet. I didn't see it. Man,
this is gonna be sick.
Let's see what we got here. Oh, Noah. Noah says Bill got gravel circumcision. Oh, just the thought of that.
Sounds entertaining.
Let me tell you, I have fallen on gravel before, and it wasn't fun. I did have clothes on, and I was not on a bike, and it still wasn't pleasant. But being on a bike naked and falling, and that's like a rock. Yeah, that's what Noah says, like a rock.
I'm looking forward to it.
I think that's what those old Dodge commercials used to say too. Be like a rock.
A rock. Thank you. King James is back in form. Let's see what King James has to say. It's called a bone contusion, which occurs when high-impact trauma like a sports injury or a hard fall damages small blood vessels inside the bone, trapping blood and fluid beneath the bone's surface or causing microscopic fractures.
Does it heal? How fast does it heal? I guess I'm curious now. Is that... It's not like we could actually see.
They
Mr.
do have things called X-rays.
Maybe you can answer that for us, Mr. James.
Throw it out there. Let's see what we get.
That sounds like something that would hurt quite a bit.
Well, yeah, obviously, but I think it heals.
It leads to my question that I had today that we can start generating off into the world. Euthanasia.
What's the matter with kids over in Asia?
Well, specifically the Netherlands.
I think Elder's saying he wants to talk about the youth in America.
Well, we can talk about the youth in the Netherlands.
Do you have preferences on the youth you want to talk about, Elder, or does it matter what nationality?
Host was the one who said euthanasia, so I thought he wanted to talk about kids over in Asia. It's up to him, but he did say euthanasia.
What kind of kids do you want to talk about?
Host?
I think he was directing that to you.
Yeah, Elder.
No, I don't want to talk about any kids. Host was the one who brought up kids in Asia.
Seems like you're avoiding the question.
It seems like you're gerrymandering.
So Iron Man Bill says, I wish I had 8 arms with magnetic fingertips. Oh, what are we seeing here?
Show and tell.
This doctor has carried out the country's first euthanasia of a child under 12. The public health minister confirmed that the first case under the Netherlands 2024 child euthanasia regulation was reported to the review committee last year. The committee has completed its assessment and forwarded its findings to the Dutch Public Prosecution Service, which will determine whether legal requirements were met. The case marks the first use of a law designed for terminally ill children, aged 1 to 12, who face unbearable suffering with no prospect of recovery. The government had previously estimated that only around 5 children per year would qualify under the framework.
So that's the question I had.
Not getting too heavy there, host.
Well, I mean, it leads to other fundamental questions about morals, ethics, and how you get there and what you're grounding those things on. But the real question is fundamentally pain and human autonomy. We covered human autonomy last week a little bit, but the question is we talked about parental rights last week. Like, is that a real thing? And now this comes down to the individual child. Can the child have free autonomy if they are terminally ill, unbearable in pain? There is no prospect of recovery. Should the child have the ability to choose to euthanize? Assisted suicide. Clearly, the Netherlands have passed a law that it said from the ages of 1, clearly that's not going to be self-autonomous, to 12, that they're allowed to euthanize these children under those conditions. So that's legal. So it's not an adult. It's clearly an under 12, and not even pubescent. So this is a whole nother level of suicide. Like, now we're not talking about elderly who's already lived their life. We're talking about middle-aged people who have at least life experience and cognitive awareness. We're talking about prepubescent children. And it's legal. So this isn't even hypothetical. This is legal. It's on the law. And they have said the first child has now been euthanized under this law.
What do you expect from people who wear wooden shoes?
Oh, wow.
In India?
In the Netherlands. The Dutch.
The Dutch. They worship windmills. They wear wooden shoes. They're weird people.
What makes them different than India?
Nothing except they worship cows.
Whoa.
And wear saris.
I mean, it was just an interesting question when I saw it. It's like a lot of societies already have a problem with the idea of with assisted suicide, even for elderly. This is now taking it to a whole nother level of a prepubescent child. Do you think they have a right if they are in unbearable pain and are terminally ill?
Well, I mean, I might as well throw my 2 cents in the ring because it's pretty quiet. But I would say, as a Christian, I can't support the voluntary taking of life because I don't think that's right. But I guess as a humanist, I guess I could make the argument that if someone is suffering and they can't bear that pain, I guess it would be up to them to make that decision whether they wanted to end it or not.
Do you support child suffering?
Well, I was going to get to that. I was going to say, an elderly person, is much different. An adult would be much different because they're to a point and they're rationalizing. All right, they understand. A child is not going to have that rationalization. I mean, there are some kids that stub their toe and they think they're dying. You see them sometimes in like Walmart or something. They bang their finger or something and they fall on the ground screaming and crying like, we need to call 911. So how it would be difficult to judge from a child's standpoint how much they're suffering, because a lot of times I'm not say it's imagined, but it's exaggerated.
So they're terminally ill.
Well, there's the hope also that, it would suck if you decide to terminate your child. And like you have the say over it and you make the decision and you say, yes, you can go ahead and assist them and they're passing. And then because you're told that they have a terminal illness and you may have been lied to by the medical community, which I know that's far-fetched, but and then all of a sudden they come out with a cure the next day. And that's going to be really tough.
But I think that would be the quandary for every human, of course. Anything could happen tomorrow, but today a child is suffering unbearably, and it's not because of some crazy thought in their head. It's because technically, clinically, they are dying. There is no cure, and it's clinical, and they are in pain because of that clinical illness. So would we encourage them to just suck it up and just be in pain?
I was listening to this dojo master.
Oh, wow.
A couple of days ago, and he was talking about, he's a martial artist.
U.S. Marshal.
Artist, though.
Okay.
Like, that's actually...
He's a famous painter.
That's his craft.
Excellent.
So he actually said, and I don't know if this is real or not. I would pull up the video, but it's not that important. But it can be, I guess, depending on if this applies or not. So he accidentally... His dog died. He didn't say how the dog died. But he put the paws of his dog over its chest like this, and then he tapped the arms, and it came back to life. And he said he knew exactly what he was doing. He was actually bringing the dog back to life. Now, it had been dead for a few hours. He didn't really know when it died. But when he got to it, he crossed the arms. He knew exactly what to do. He did the procedures that he was trained to do.
Excellent.
Being in that
martial.
Yeah.
Right.
So, when I was a CNA,
right,
I was trained how to do CPR, but that's a different craft on its own. He wasn't trained that way. He was trained in a different method. You put the arms over the shoulder, over them, you cross them like this, and you tap them, and that actually brings it back to life. Anyway, so he was telling his class this, and he said, unfortunately, though, the brain was still dead. So the heart was moving, and it was breathing, but it was brain dead. Which led me to the question, well, okay, so how do you fix that now? You actually just brought something back to life that you have to deal with now. It's brain dead.
A zombie.
Yeah, that's actually essentially, in essence, that's what it was. Anyway, so he said that he put a bag over its head and suffocated it and threw it in the garbage can. And what's funny is it's not supposed to be funny. Like, he's actually being serious.
That's probably why it's unique.
It added more validity to what he was saying. Like, he actually had to, because he could have just said, yeah, and that was it. But no, he actually went on and explaining, I had to actually put it back out of its misery. But that, like, you can tell this is actually just a backdrop of the story. This wasn't, the climax was he brought it back to life. And then he was explaining what he had to do afterwards, like, as, the descending,
right?
The descending,
of
the
the
fall
kingdom,
of the,
right? Of the marshal.
Hey, there's only one way to take care of a zombie. Double tap to the head.
Is that what you would say to a kid that's brain dead?
Well, I guess you wouldn't really be saying anything to him because
I was saying if the conclusion
dead.
is brain dead is zombie.
Well, this guy actually had to assist the dog.
If he was brain dead but came back to life, that's the whole, like, if someone was brain dead and yet got up and started moving, we have a case of zombieism, and you need to take it out.
Yeah, you just got to put a bag over its head and suffocate it.
Double tap, man. No.
Yeah.
Because zombies don't breathe, so you can't suffocate a zombie.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it worked this time. He said it worked, and he just threw it in the garbage can.
You think it worked? There's a zombie dog walking around out there wherever this place is, and yeah, I bet
Probably.
It's taking out people, maybe cats, the other dogs, small children, and yeah.
Is there a
That's how these
correlation
things
with
get started.
That's
US how these
Marshal
things get started.
Is there a correlation with the U.S. Marshal and the 12-year-old euthanasia?
Well, yeah. I mean, this guy only knows how to give life, unfortunately. He's not very good at taking it, probably. So maybe he failed at taking the dog's life. He said he threw it in the garbage can. So, yeah, somebody's going to get a brand new dog. And it's probably going to be like Pet Cemetery style, too, because it's like half dead. It's like in limbo world.
I think
right
Colleague shows us one of those dogs in this week's episode.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh,
we did see a
yeah.
picture of one of those
Wow.
dogs, yeah.
It's a zombie dog.
I forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah, see?
Well, last week I showed that one guy who used the dog like a nunchucks because there's a bunch of other dogs about to attack him, so he picked one of the dogs up and like started hitting it, hitting all the other dogs with his other dog. I was like, man, that's genius.
Well, they got scared.
Yeah, and he just went home. He's like, yeah, just go right to bed.
Can't swing a dog around without hitting another dog.
Right.
Oh, people do it with people too.
Yeah, that's right. People do swing.
Mm-hmm. Swing high or swing low chariot.
Yeah.
Swing the dog.
Well, the correlation between the dojo master and the
euthanasia.
Yeah, that guy, the guy who performing.
Oh, you're talking about the doctor that performed it.
Yeah. They're both assisting a living organism on its way out. Like the dojo master, he had to assist the dog because I don't know how much pain it was in. He said that it was trying to move, but it was brain dead. So he had to euthanasia it.
Got visitors.
It's the feds.
Don't let them in.
Mute it. Right,
we're not home.
Just keep rolling, guys. Even if they take you down,
over here in
keep
Sketch Van.
Yeah, that's actually happened in Sketch Van. Actually,
I know.
When the whole COVID thing was a big thing. Yeah, whoever their big police are, they came in bulletproof vests. They're all suited and booted. And they came in and grabbed this doctor. He was actually talking about the stats for COVID.
Oh, yeah, on live.
On live, yeah. And one of the guys actually turned the live off, but you could see the whole thing. They just came in and grabbed him.
Somehow the camera turned off, but the audio continued.
I remember seeing the guy. He actually walked up, and he was, like, messing with it. You could see his face and everything. Like, they dragged the guy out, like, 3 minutes before that. Then one of the guys came back in. He was looking at the camera, trying to figure out how to turn it off, and then finally turned it off. It was like, yeah, it was all live. You can't find that video now, unfortunately. It's been scrubbed, but
probably on the red types.
Yeah, probably blue rooms.
Yeah.
Anyway,
blue bloods.
So that guy knows what it's like to assist somebody on the way out.
Right. Well, do you think the dog and the 12-year-old has the same value?
To some people, probably.
Well,
to others, maybe not.
In this collective conversation we're having here. Would us three, in our value theory, would we assume the same as the dojo master? A 12-year-old and a dog has the same intrinsic living value.
I mean, it's a living thing, but I mean, people put their pets down all the time, and we don't put our kids down, so I mean.
Well, in Netherlands they are.
Well, apparently they're starting.
Right, it's legal, like you can.
Yeah, but they're not throwing their bodies away in trash cans.
No, but it's the same premise, right? You have a dog, it's terminal, it's sick, it's in pain.
No, I'm saying nobody's throwing kids' bodies away in trash cans.
I don't know about Dojo Man.
He's not either. That was a dog, not a kid.
Right, but they're doing the same thing as the dog. You take it to the hospital. The vet says, and it's terminally ill, the dog is suffering. You decide that you're going to put it down because you don't want it to suffer. It's the same thing in the Netherlands. You have this child, it's terminal, it's suffering, and you decide you want to put it down, and you're legally allowed to.
Yeah, so the vet basically asks you, would you like to put a bag over its head, or would you like us to?
No dojo. There's no dojo actions going on. I don't know about Dojo Man.
I feel like there's better ways to go than putting a bag over it. That feels personal.
No. Yeah, that clearly, even any life, there's better ways than garbage bags.
It feels personal at that point.
Street mafia.
And you have to actually hold it like that too.
Well, you have to volitionally choose to do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's the mafia.
Well, although mafia is also double tap to the head too, so
Yeah, you can do that too. I think the most humane way though is to give it a shot.
Yeah, take it to the hospital and do that. But I guess that's the question is already people have a problem with giving elderly the idea of the opportunity of self-autonomy, assisted suicide.
Elderly would actually be a good Mormon dating app. But yeah, anyway, that's way off topic.
Whoa.
Wow.
So what's your saying?
I was just thinking it's becoming a lot of places it's hard just to even talk about euthanasia for older people, but now it's becoming normalized that we're just going to jump the gun and just take it to, according to the law, 1 to 12-year-olds. So, but the justification is untreatable terminal pain, terminal illness, and it's unbearable pain. Is that justifiable? Or do you want to tell the child, no, you're going to suffer anyways? There's unbearable
Well, Elder
pain.
already handled that a little bit ago. He said we don't really know. Yeah, he pointed out that we don't know how much pain a child is actually in.
Yeah, but let's say it's clinical.
I mean, my children will swear they're in the worst pain of their life because they can't have a chocolate bar.
But that's an abstraction.
Shout out to Charlie.
Let's say that's an abstraction, but it's clinical. Let's say they have some bone pain and it's clinical. I mean, unless you're going to just say all pain is abstraction. If that's the case, if it's all abstraction, then we should say nothing is justified because there's no such thing as pain.
Well, I can tell how much pain my kids are in by how much they're wincing.
Yeah, no, but let's say it's real.
How much they're crying.
It's clinical. There's no they're
yeah,
not
no,
the ones
and that's
assessing.
tough. Their pain tolerance may be higher because if they're always in pain like that, then yeah, it's tough. I have no clue.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's clinical. The doctors diagnose this is on a statistical range always highly painful problems. They're throwing up all the time. They're cancers. They're metastatic. They're dying. All their organs are failing. They're literally dying.
Then I wouldn't have to do anything anyways. Like,
I
they're
know,
on their way out.
but now they're
It sounds
crying
like
every
they're real close
day.
anyway.
I can't handle this. This is too much. Do you say, no, child, you're just going to continue suffering until you die?
No, I'd keep pumping them with morphine.
They just want to die. So you think we should just make them just pump them full of drugs?
Well, if they're in pain.
Yeah, but they don't want that. They want to die.
Yeah, I know. Kids want to eat chocolate bars until it comes out their ears, but we're not going to let them do that either.
So that's the thing we should do. We should just pump everybody full of drugs.
Well, if they're in pain,
Well,
you just give them some
do.
Tylenol.
But what if somebody wants to die? So we should never allow people to have that choice.
People are grown adults. You're talking about children
They're
who don't know
people,
anything
too.
yet.
They want it. Let
Yeah,
them
they
have
are
it.
people. They don't know anything yet, though. They don't know the
But
value
they're
of life.
going to die.
In their
What's
mind.
happening is the parents are going to have to make that decision.
That's why I think this
because
is an
no one
insane
under
construct.
18 can make
This
a
is not a
decision like that for
hypothetical.
themselves.
They will die. It is terminal. There is no ifs, ands,
Nobody
and buts.
knows that.
But you can say that about anything.
Sure.
Listen, seriously, it's going to be the parents' decision, not the kids.
Well, what if it is the kid's decision?
I don't think it can be.
I wouldn't
Legally,
put that
I
in.
don't think it can be. I mean,
I wouldn't
what
put
they're
that.
saying is it's legal to do it, but I don't think it's legal for the kid to make the decision.
Why? Why not?
Because it's
they're not an
wrong.
adult.
Yeah,
They
why?
can't make-
See, this is
yeah.
where I wanted to get to. Why is it ethically wrong? Who cares if they had life experience or not? Who cares?
Well, I don't think it's ethically wrong.
Just
Go
let it
ahead,
happen.
Elder.
Well, why don't we let kids drink? Why don't we let kids
Right,
smoke? Why don't we
right.
let kids
Why not?
drive? Why don't we let kids
Why not?
do all the things that adults do?
Because they don't have the mental fortitude yet. They don't have the experience.
So
They
what?
don't know what they're getting themselves into.
Let them have it.
Right.
Like my kids would probably chop. My son would chop off his hand right now if he could. If I let him, he would
Right.
chop off his hands. He doesn't understand that that's going to ruin the rest of his life.
But
He has
wouldn't
no
if
clue
there
what
was
that's going to do for the
if
rest
there
of his
was no
life.
restriction, you have the right to chop his hand off.
Why would I want to do that?
No, I'm saying you could. Like if he was
Why
a
would
threat, you could be a threat.
That's not the case.
It's reciprocal.
But we're talking about putting the choice, life-altering choices.
Mm-hmm.
A kid's only been alive for 5 years, and he's about to make a decision for the next 85 years of his life.
Not if he's terminal.
You don't know how long he's going to live.
Doctor says it's
It
terminal.
would suck. He's like, yeah, son, why don't you start sitting here smoking 8 packs a day? And then you find out, oh, wow, he's cured. We found a cure. Now he's going to die of a different disease, lung cancer,
Mm-hmm.
because we didn't take care of his body the best we could when he was on the
But
bed.
he's
The only thing I
terminal.
can say to this argument is I've known people that have been diagnosed with terminal disease. They
It
only
sounds
had,
like you
6
guys
months
just
to live.
want people to suffer.
3 years later, they're still alive.
It sounds like you
So-
just want children to suffer pain.
Well,
That's what it sounds like. It's like
I-
there's no justification.
It's a good way
There's
to teach
no
them. It's a good
answer
way to
except
teach
Let's
them.
you
not play
will
that game,
suffer.
Mr. White.
You
Listen,
will
they'll
suffer.
grow up model citizens if they experience pain when they're young.
It's like, all right, child, I don't care what you say. You're not old enough. You're not smart enough. You will suffer because there could be a cure for you next year.
'Cause they don't
even
know
though
what
we
they
know
want.
you're going to die. But I don't care. You will suffer because I said so.
Everybody
That's
suffers.
because life is pain.
So
Life
you
is
want. So
suffering.
that's what you want, though. You want people to
Anyone else who
terminally
says
suffer.
anything different is trying to sell you
So
something.
that's what's very interesting.
The alternative is you end the suffering and you end the pleasure as well.
Who cares?
Well, the kid cares, who might have actually had pleasure in his life and you just took that from him.
If the kid says they want it, why not?
The kid doesn't know what he wants.
Who cares? That's what they say in the moment.
The kid cares, just not yet. The kid will care in 18 years if they gets to live that long. He will care, and he's going to be thankful that mom and daddy didn't terminate me.
They care in this moment because the pain is unbearable.
That's right.
Have you guys ever gone to a cancer? Have you ever been to a cancer ward for kids, youth cancer ward?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Well, it's a hospital, and it's a cancer ward, but it takes care of kids.
I've never been one for kids, but for other people.
The point I'm trying to make is you will never see.
Are you talking about like a terminally ill place for a kids hospital? Like St. Jude's or something?
Yeah. You'll never see human beings fighting harder than kids. And I'll tell you why, because exactly the reason why colleague has been saying all along that they don't know. And that's the whole point. The kids have their lives ahead of them. So they're going to be the ones that are going to fight the hardest to try to beat these things.
Great.
And there have been cases where people have beaten terminal diseases.
But now if a kid
and old people have already lived an entire life. They've known it all. And if they're in pain and they would end it, it makes it much
okay. So now when they're 18, so it's cool.
Well, they're autonomous when they're 18. So
see, that's what I'm saying. There's this arbitrary age.
Well, no, when they're 18, they've been alive for 18 years.
From 12 to 18.
So they know now.
From 12 to 18,
it's not arbitrary. You not know that
it's
the
weird.
brain.
It's like this age of accountability, age of consent, age of drunkenness.
It's just science.
It's a weird thing.
You didn't know
pain
that. So you didn't
pain.
know. Just because you can talk over everybody, you didn't know that the brain develops at different stages of life. You didn't know that?
I don't know.
So you had no idea that when you're 18, your brain is developed far more than when it was 2.
I have no clue.
And then when you're 26, your brain is done developing. You had no clue about any of that.
My pain I have today is the same kind of pain a child would have.
Okay, so you had no idea that a child's brain develops.
I just know the pain
over the next 26 years of its life.
I know the same pain I have when I slam my hand into a door is the same pain a child will have slamming their hand into a door. I know pain is universal. That's real. No matter how old, how much life experience you have, pain is universal.
So when my daughter is 39 and looks back at her life, do you think she's going to be spiteful of me that I didn't terminate her when she was little because I was told that she had a terminal illness? You think she's going to be upset like, yeah, you should have terminated me. Now that my brain's developed, I can see that you made the wrong choice.
I have no clue what they would think.
Well, statistically, we can look at statistics. How many grateful children there are that are alive.
You're asking something I don't know.
Because their parents didn't terminate them.
I have no clue. But
we can know.
I don't know.
Should we look it up?
I don't know. All I do know is that pain from somebody getting their hand slammed in a door is the same pain universally. Pain is not an age deterrent.
What about pleasure?
Well, nobody cares about pleasure when you're in unbearable pain. All you want is that pain to be gone. Like if I have a headache or a toothache, nobody's thinking about how great Disney World is. What they're thinking about is get rid of this headache, get rid of this toothache, get rid of my backache, get rid of this pain. Nobody cares about Disneyland when you're in pain.
All right, listen, guys, let me push the pause button on this just for a second. Our chats are beginning to fill up with some results of the discussions. I'd like to read them out, and we can go back and move forward. But I'd like to get some of these read out.
Do you mind if I play this quick clip real quick? It's germane to our topic, and then you can.
Jermaine Jackson, Tito.
Yes.
Go. Our chats are beginning to fill up with some results.
You got the Matrix
discussions. I'd like to read them out, and we can go back and
we do this.
move forward. But I'd like to get some of these read out.
Do you mind? There we go. Okay. Let me do this real quick. There we go.
I ever imagined our little joyride could turn into all this, I certainly never would have done it.
Are you kidding? Thanks to you, I had the greatest night of my life.
I should be thanking you. You made me believe in myself again. If there's anything you ever want...
There's one thing. Would you take off your mask for me? I want to know who you really are.
But I can't. Oh, wait. Maybe I can. For you, Taina.
Wow! Wow, you're Peter Parker.
Yes, that's who I am.
That is so
Feels like
cool.
one of those I
Thank
make
you,
a wish
Spider-Man.
things.
Peter,
Yeah.
you are
Could
the
you just
best friend I ever
tell me
had.
who you
I
are?
was thinking the same thing about you.
I'll keep your secret for the rest of my life.
Thanks, Taina. Good night.
Wow, that was really something. Was like, good night.
Yeah, look, it said.
For the
Yep, there it is.
terminal.
Yeah, so she's gonna keep his secret for the rest of her life.
Which is probably a couple days.
Yeah, if you notice her name, it's Diana.
I thought he said Tina.
No, Diana.
It's so cool.
Diarrhea.
Thank you, Spider-Man. Peter, you are the best friend I ever had.
I was thinking the same thing about you.
I'll keep your secret for the rest of my life.
Thanks, Taina. Good night.
Diana.
I guess he felt safe. He's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Yeah, I think that's the yeah.
Right, that was a little too dark.
Well, let's find out.
Hmm.
I just want to jump to. There's a lot of stuff in here, but talking about cannibalism and stuff is very exciting.
I already knew. That's why I chose this topic. I already knew it was going to be one of those things.
Johnny Bravo says, "Cause you belong to your parents, they made you until your brain is developed enough." Then, of course, Dr. Toilet said, "Kids are gay," but he spelled it G-H-E-Y. So I don't know if that's a new word that was just invented to describe kids, but
interesting.
He said
Go for it.
G-E-H-Y or G-H-E-Y?
no, G-H-E-Y, like gay.
Gay.
Gay or gee. Gee. And he says, "I'm a doctor. I concur." Then partner mom speaks up and says, "Related question: should children be prescribed hormone drugs that alter their bodies permanently and cause sterilization?" Oof. Okay. Well, I guess we'll jump on that after I get down a little bit further. We can talk about
I
that.
guess that's more back to the argument of parental rights and self-autonomy.
Yes. Yep. Which I think this ties in as well. But Johnny Bravo says, "I got my first hand job while I was in the hospital." Oh, thank you for sharing.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hey,
I guess,
hey.
Yeah.
That's actually, it wasn't
except
a
if
movie
maybe,
theater.
Maybe if you were like 7 or 8, I don't know if it was that good, but
Hey, you got to look it up. For all of times, that's why they call it a handmaid. They used to have maids give hand jobs to all the boys who wouldn't sleep. That was a normal practice in the Victorian age. Handmaids. Very common practice for boys who wouldn't sleep.
it seems like there are some practices that were ancient old practices. That
No,
maybe
it's
we
not
should
too long
consider
ago. It was like
bringing
150
back. I
years
don't know.
ago.
Sounds like the boys couldn't
Victorian
handle
time.
themselves back then. I don't know what's wrong
Yeah,
with
that's
them.
true.
That's why they had a
Well,
handmaid.
they were a lot like, I guess, a lot of the. Never mind. I'm not getting into
You
this.
can look it
Okay.
up. It's very common
If
practice.
Your
for
hands
boys
don't look
who
like
wouldn't
this
sleep.
when you're
brain-
eating lunch and you're a wussy.
The brain doesn't fully develop until the ages of 25 to 30. Some people brain develops differently. That was Johnny Bravo. And then Dr. Toilet says the life program takes 23 to 30 years to install. That's not too
Oh, you said
untrue.
the brains to install?
Yeah, to install.
Oh, wow.
And finally, Johnny Bravo says that's an accurate statement, Mr. Toilet. It's Dr. Toilet, but
But kids are
understood.
gay?
No, that the life program takes 23 to 30
Oh.
years to install.
I'm sorry. My bad.
That's okay. Anyway, I guess going back to what
Was that all
Byron
of them?
Nurmov said, that is all of them. We're up to date.
Okay.
Yeah, we're up to date. So,
Did you
yeah, I don't know. I think this.
Did
whole
you
thing
read the
with
last
kids-
one with Tommy Boy?
Hold on a second. I came to the end here. Hold on. I am at the end. What's happening here? I don't understand.
It got redacted, but I can see it on my screen.
Oh, well, that's
Oh.
all right. Hold on. Let me look at the small screen here. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I'm
maybe
sorry. I didn't notice it was redacted.
Maybe governments are pushing this so that they wouldn't have to pay to keep you alive. Maybe there's a motivation for demons wanting to act like demons.
Mm.
Huh.
So then it's more of an ethical question for Tommy. It's more of a religious opposition. Demons wanting to be demons.
But if we think about that, Tommy, The government's not paying for these kids to stay alive. They're actually making money. Like the hospitals are making money the longer the
true.
kids.
That's why they don't give treatments. I mean, they
medical
don't give
industry,
cures.
yeah, absolutely.
They give treatments because they want prolonged suffering so they can make more money.
Yeah. Now, I've been wondering the past year or so if the world isn't run by money anymore. It's run by agendas. And, maybe it's an agenda, so it's not about the money. At one point it was, but it's not anymore. It's not about the money anymore. It's about agendas. So the governments will actually take a loss for the cost of an agenda. So, yeah, they're like, man, we're making more money from these medical things, this medical propaganda, than anything else, but we're going to cut it to push an agenda.
Yes, Tommy's Netherlands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like an agenda to me. And I'm arguing for the sake that I know nobody's going to argue. That's why I'm saying all of this. Nobody's going to say what I'm saying. So therefore, I have to be the advocate in this conversation for the people who want to promote euthanizing under 12-year-old. No one else is going to say it, so I'm saying it.
No, I get that, which is I think why you're getting so much pushback, because
it's fine, and it's
there's
well
a lot
deserved.
of people opposed to this.
Right, it's fine. It's well deserved. That's why I'm saying it. But somebody has to say it, or we're going to be in an echo chamber. So all I'm saying is that's right, and it does sound like an agenda. But
that's interesting. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I guess Tommy Boys is saying that the agenda is simply to, is population reduction then? Would that be the agenda?
Well, he's saying that governments aren't paying for health care in other countries. And he says, didn't you say Netherlands? We said yes. Then he says for the low levels, it's about the money. And for the people that print the money, it's about the agenda.
Probably. And why else would Bud Light do what they did? I mean, they still haven't recovered from that whole thing. And all these Target lost millions. And all these stupid, this was just for an agenda. They lost all this money. And people are still losing money today.
Well, yeah, it's interesting that agenda has superseded money, profit. It does seem kind of crazy, but I guess when it's a cult that you're dealing with, I guess it would supersede. If they believe that their mission is more powerful than money, then they're going to go for it.
Well, I don't want to go down the money road, but I will just say one simple thing. Everybody argues about birth rates, right? That's the whole conversation. From elites to low-level people, everybody complains. Every country has low birth rates. The reason why America is concerned, or a lot of big countries, about birth rates is without new kids, nobody's going to be able to fund the future. You don't have taxation, you don't have workers, you don't have people funding Social Security, blah, blah, blah. So it's a money-making machine. You need more people. So then the counter-narrative is strange. If you get rid of children, I get it, you're getting rid of the old people, right? All right, fine. That makes sense. I get that. Doesn't even have to be an agenda. Capitalistically, I get it. If you're getting rid of children, and that's the agenda, you're actually getting rid of the very thing that you do want. You do want children because you need future investment protocols. So what would be the agenda for that? Like, what's the goal of that? And we're talking about white, westernized, like Netherlands, white, westernized children. You're not even talking about, a provish third world country. You're talking about white, Netherlands, westernized children.
Because it's about a twisted vision of mercy. It's the same reason why there are certain individuals pushing this trans change for children, because they think these children are suffering and they should be, going through the transformation of becoming who they feel they are. And I think this is the same thing. It's like, these children are in pain. We're being merciful by ending their lives. It's this twisted notion of mercy, giving people this.
But you're getting rid of children. Like, I get it if it's older people, but to me, it defeats their whole agenda. Is they need children for their pedophilia. They need children for their factory commercialization. You want to sell products, you sell it to teens and children. These are the largest consumers.
Well, here's
you getting rid of all the children?
Here's a conspiracy theory that I've never heard anybody say before. what if, we all know the elites are reconfiguring our DNA by giving us certain foods and products. There's no way around it. Even farmers, their crops that the food that they're feeding their animals is going into the animals, and then we're eating the animals. So no matter what, we're consuming biologically engineered food. What's that called? GMO. Genetically modified. There we go. Genetically modified organics. So it makes me wonder if these kids with leukemia and terminal illnesses are failed products, failed attempts. So the government's thinking those ones failed. Now we need to modify it a little bit more. So we're just tweaking here. They're tweaking the diet plan that we're all consuming, and eventually they're going to get it right. And once we don't have any more kids that are diagnosed with terminal illnesses, that's how they'll know it's perfect. And then they can move on to step 2. But right now we're in phase 1 right now. We're just a bunch of guinea pigs. So they're getting rid of the kids because there's going to be evidence. Right, that's getting rid of the evidence too.
But if that was the case, then if that was true, that would lead to the assumption this should start to spread everywhere. Like eventually it's just starting in the Netherlands, but then it should probably go to UK.
What's that? Euthanasia?
Yeah,
of course.
And then it would have to come to America.
Yeah, it has to start somewhere.
Right. It's hard to believe America, they don't even allow assisted suicide for the elderly. It's hard to think that anybody would agree to under 12.
Yeah, technically, there wouldn't be an age discrimination. We're just going to assist suicide any age and all ages. Right,
that's what you would think eventually. If you're allowing 12-year-olds and under, this is universal.
Yeah, because because we're all eating the same food, no matter what. You're not going to be able to get away from Bill Gates' farms. You're not going to be able to do it. So we're all eating the same junk that they're giving us. It's just they're trying to get rid of the failed products so that way they could use those resources for the products that are still working, or the ones that are actually working.
It's just hard for me to see America accepting any assisted suicide. And again, this is not making an argument for or against. It's just the culture of America is very free, very libertarian, and the idea that, and it's actually kind of counterintuitive too, isn't it? If you're libertarian, you don't want government regulation into your assistance, right? So if you want to commit suicide, it should be promoted by a libertarian idea. So why would you negate that anyway? But it's almost like, but the one thing we want regulation on is the preservation of life. So you want the government to make sure nobody can commit suicide, but you're libertarian, which means you don't want the government involved in your life. That seems like a paradox.
I think the fact that they could take something so basic, penises and vaginas, the fact that there's males and females, and then turn that on its head, I think that is a foreshadow of what's going to be coming. Like, they could tell us anything, and we're just going to believe it. And not only that, they're actually getting women who would, Mama Bear comes out, and anytime they hear about a pedophile coming near their kids, but they're actually getting women to side with pedophiles right now. And it's like, you talk about trans people, pedophiles, women will come against you. Like, they have a whole army of sleeper agents in America where you cannot speak out against certain groups of people without getting shunned and probably, like, I've witnessed it firsthand. Trans people getting very violent with me, gay and trans people getting very violent with me, just trying to have a conversation with them. And I almost got mobbed by a bunch of gay people. That would be funny to watch, honestly. Hopefully somebody would have recorded that. But getting by an entire crowd just because you're in the wrong place at the wrong time during a gay pride parade, and you say the wrong thing to the wrong person, they're all going to attack you. And they're over here preaching all this love, and you're trying to de-escalate. You're talking to them very quietly, very calm, but they're screaming at you, belittling you for what? Not because you're hating them or nothing. And that was a wild time for me. I was like, wow, these are the most loving people that we can think of. these people. Like they will literally, if there was no police, they actually got the police involved and everything. Security. There's like 2 security officers, 3 police officers, and I was trying to talk with them, but these gay and trans people were screaming at the police and belittling them too, telling them, "You do your effing job. Why don't you put these people in cuffs?" They're talking about me and my family, and why don't you do this and that? Do your job. And they're like, if these police didn't have weapons, I think we probably all would have got mobbed by these gay and trans people who are so loving. And they're like, one guy, he's overweight, but he's wearing this fishnet, and they have these children out here. There's probably some of them were probably nude, and I was like, this. And there's women out there, women too. It's like, this is what women are supporting. Women who are trying to protect their children, the loving mother, are supporting this. These people grown men in fishnets that are trying to get with their children. And America has somehow successfully convinced women to let go of their children's hand and join hand with a grown man wearing a fishnet suit. Yeah, but that is wild.
But we were talking earlier before we did the pre-recorded. That's a very low percentage. Like, they want the media to propagate the idea that it's a normative, but technically, statistically, it's a very low percentage of people. It's not really that large, but they want to make it seem like it's a large thing, but percentively, it's a very small group of Americans like that. So it's not something I would say is a common belief or notion.
No, but like, if for any single men out there, if they have any hope of getting with a woman, they cannot speak against the gay or trans community. You can't say anything against pedophiles. Like, you say anything against pedophiles, like, oh. It's like, but then you of course the women want to protect their kids, but yeah, and it's not like all women are like that either. It's just most women, because most men are not trying to get pegged by other men.
Yeah, again, statistically, is that something the media is trying to make us feel like it's common, or is it really common? I would say statistically, it's not as common.
For women supporting pedophiles, I've seen that firsthand constantly. At my work,
that would
constantly.
Be very tough to think that there is more women saying, "I think men should sleep with 5-year-old girls," than women saying that's absolutely horrendous.
All you have to do is say you're against gay or trans.
Just propagate. It's like, do you agree with a grown man sleeping with a 5-year-old girl? I would think that they all would think that's horrendous.
Yeah, until you say, well, there's this trans person. That's when they're going to, oh, well, no. See, that, you have to understand where trans people came from.
If there's a trans woman that wanted to, a grown trans woman that wanted to sleep with a 5-year-old boy, are you okay with that? I would think they would say absolutely not.
No, I think they're going to get mad at you and not want to have that conversation. Because they know. They know.
I think now they're being torn internally, everybody would think that's horrendous.
It's crazy that it's gotten to this point. You can't even have that conversation.
Well, I mean, I can, but there might be social consequences, but clearly legally I can't.
Like, try telling a woman that you don't want a trans man going into a woman's bathroom or a woman's locker room. Well, try telling them, and they're going to be like, well, they identify as a woman.
See, I think that's another reason why people fight so hard for nationalism. They want isolated community restrictions. Like, a lot of rural cities, they will ban people. Like, if you are, for whatever reasons, they'll try to ban isolative laws. Like, a good example is, where's Moscow?
Idaho?
Idaho, right? Like, Idaho is a really good example. Like, they have some hyperly conservative laws, and they are trying to make these laws very particular to make sure that they only have a certain demographic and type of people living within their states. And the reason why are because of that. And so people make the argument is, if you can have a Los Angeles, why can't I have this, like, the other radical end, which would be like Moscow, Idaho?
I don't know. I know what I hear a lot from men and women. I don't know. I talk to a lot of strangers every day. I get paid to talk to strangers, and we talk about politics, we talk about religion, we talk about weather, all things under the sun. That's what I get paid to do. It's talk about random stuff.
Really, FBI type job.
Yeah. And I haven't found any men, straight men. I haven't found any straight men who actually support the trans community. There's more people supportive of the gay community, but the trans community, no. Now, women, not every single woman, but I'll say probably 90% of women that I talk to, they're all supportive of the trans community, even against their own children. Now, yeah, if you put their children or the trans person on the chopping block, they're gonna get mad at you for even doing that because you shouldn't do that. And then it's because they don't want to choose. And I don't know. I mean, it's just pure programming. It's like, man, well done to America. They're good. Thanks, Bernays.
Yeah,
that guy, he did a good work.
I just don't know if that's as common.
By the way, if you guys are wondering, the most conservative city in the country is Mesa, Arizona.
That's a pretty big city.
So there you go.
I would have thought it would have been Moscow.
I may be moving.
Oh, do you want that kind of conservativeness? Because, conservatism isn't just one topic. There's multifaceted topics.
Yeah, but I consider myself, I think, socially
Are you more of a
conservative.
neocon? Are you more of a MAGA? Or what kind of conservative
Definitely not
are
a
you?
MAGA. Don't ever accuse me of that. No. I think that
Are you a neoconservative?
I don't think I'm a neocon either.
Are you an old Oliver North Reagan conservative?
Maybe that's.
Oh, so
that
you're
might be
into
a little
selling
more-
drugs.
Well, only to
And
to
connecting
fund
with
military operations or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, good old Oliver North. To me, it's irrelevant. It's like why we're choosing. They switch. Like, what is it to be a conservative today comparative to 30 years ago?
Oh, I know. That's very true. That's the same thing with Democrats.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know
the
if that's
history of
probably the wisest
Democratic Party,
metric to live upon.
no, I guess you're not. You're right. It's not. But yeah, there's bad things about extremely conservative
things
people
change,
too.
right? And people have a right to change.
Yeah.
But I mean, you go ahead and read some of these. I'm sure it's getting a little.
Oh yeah.
commenting.
Let's go back and see. Of course, Tommy's going to erase all his. So get them while they're hot, I guess. Okay, we went through all that. We got through the hand jobs. Let's see. Where are we at here? 20.
Can't even have a normal conversation.
Okay, so Dr. Toilet says, I get offended when humans don't say doctor. Haha. Well, I would be offended too. You worked very hard for that title of doctor, and people should call you doctor when they address you, or at least sir. Yay, although I don't know how you determine the gender of a toilet, but maybe you could fill us in on that. Johnny Bravo Echo says, yeah, the USA pays for healthcare and housing and veterans of Israel. It seems, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
He also says, Bud Light did not, because it's provocative, it gets the people going.
To Bud Light?
Bud Light.
Is that what? Okay.
Not Bud Light. Bud Light. Johnny Bravo
I would
says,
actually be more
the point
believing if
is
it said
AI
Bud
and
Light.
robots. Hey, host, I'm getting a lot of feedback all of a sudden.
Oh, okay, I can fix that.
Thank you. Let's see. Johnny Bravo says, but third world countries have more children than first world countries. Well, that's true. Pirate Nerd Mom says, big companies aren't necessarily pursuing an agenda. I think companies like Disney and Budweiser are trying to get a higher corporate equality index rating because it benefits them in other ways.
What other ways is the big question. Like if they're getting paid by higher corporations to do that, I guess that'd be the big debate. What benefits are they receiving?
Oh, Tommy's jumping off. He says, I'm out of here later, fellas. Later, Tom.
See ya.
Be cool.
No.
Stay out of prison. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe she can give us a little more details on what that thing is, the corporate equality index, and what advantage it is. Johnny Bravo says there are more women pedo teachers than people would believe. Yeah, I've always thought it weird, and you hear these news, and there's been no shortage of them. These news articles that, the woman, the female teacher, is arrested because they have improper contact with a youth who's usually one of their students, and you do hear this often. You hear a lot of, and they're young women too. They're usually in their 20s, and they have relations with like a teen. You don't hear as much about a male teacher having relations with a younger girl. I mean, it does happen. We do hear it, but I honestly, I really have heard more of the women, which is weird. I don't know what kind of psychology is at work there.
Well, I think men are just naturally more, like we've talked about this, even things Richard Dawkins pointed out. It's in our genes. Men are just more sexual by nature. Like, it's actually in our genes. We can't really help that. That's just a scientific fact. So it's
why are the women,
what's that?
Why are the women going after these young guys then?
Well, they do, and it's not like women aren't. Men and women are both sexual creatures. Obviously, they want to both procreate, but one has more. One has limited eggs, and one has unlimited seeds. So the one with unlimited seeds is going to procreate with anybody and everybody all the time. Like, you have to actually ejaculate as a man. What they say, like 3 times a week or something like that. Otherwise, your body's going to do it for you. Your semen fills up, like a balloon, and eventually it's going to have to release. Otherwise, it's going to pop, and it's not going to, so it's just going to release.
I don't understand the correlation between an adult woman going after a male child, for sexual relationship.
Because
a
it
male
happens.
a male can produce. I think it's unlimited. Actually, I don't think men ever stop producing.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So you can go after any age. Why would you go after a child?
Well, there's psychological reasons for that we can get into.
Oh, well, that's what I was kind of curious. That's what I was saying.
I'll just add one thing interjectively, and then you guys go into psychological world. I would say for the women, it's a dominancy predatory function. Women, and I'm not going to say it's a general construct, but it's a simple construct. Women love children. Men can dominate women. Women can dominate children. It's a very simple, primitive construct. If an adult woman can find a means to control a male, then it's opportunity to have that dominancy that's been dominated on them as a very equal primacy. I have this 14-year-old boy. I can control them. I can manipulate them. Now I have power. And so it's a cycle of dominancy. A woman feels dominated by the man. Now the woman can find a means to dominate a child. She can dominate an older man, but that's more difficult.
Yes.
But she can easily dominate a child.
Interesting. That's a good answer. I completely understand that. It makes sense.
So honestly, I would think more women are doing that to schoolboys because a woman teacher is in a dominant position. She's already feeling dominant.
Yeah, a lot of times it has to, the hurt people. So women who are unfortunately abused as little girls, like Host is saying, the psychological recoil of that is, I need to take control. And you're going to just repeat the cycle, unfortunately. Now, abuse a little boy. So that's probably more that's probably more psychological than biological. For men, it's both, because men have the same psychological problem like that, and they have the biological problem where I have to release.
Imperative, yeah.
Like you will have.
Your animal side is saying find the most appropriate person to breed with. You may not be thinking of that sociologically, but I think that's the animal driving is saying procreate and find the best vessel for that procreation.
Yeah, if you look at the monasteries, how many nuns are doing things to children versus how many monks are doing things to little children. I think the statistic would show it would be very lopsided because the men are they're just either you're gonna have a wet dream. You're going to. That's just science. You're going to have a wet dream because your body has to release. It has to. If you don't release in time, it's just going to keep building and building. Women, on the other hand, their eggs are limited, so they're very selective on who they're going to procreate with. And this is why women are selective. This is why women want marriage typically more than men. Women are more cautious with who they get with. I mean, they're very closely linked.
That honestly makes perfect sense.
But another interesting thing that everybody knows is, and somebody told me, like I just saw his post, was it last year or something on social media, and it brought a good point in my mind. That just proves the point even further, that everybody knows this to be the truth, and the fact that nobody's hiring male babysitters. If you get a babysitter, you're not getting an old man, because you already know. You're not getting a middle-aged man. You're not getting a teenage boy, because you already know what's going to happen. Now, maybe it won't happen. Maybe you get lucky. That old man, that old grandpa didn't do anything, right? That young teenage boy didn't do anything to your kids. Maybe. You got lucky. And in your brain, you're going to think, yeah, I probably got lucky. But people typically go towards, it doesn't matter. You can have an old woman. They're safe. Grandma's safe. Mother is safe. And even teenage girl is safe. Now, yeah, you may get unlucky too, because one of them may do something stupid to your kids. It's not like they can't do any evil. They could do that same thing too. But the statistical odds is that we all know that you have a better chance if you get a woman or a girl or grandma to watch your kids versus the other side. Anyway, I'll get out my soapbox.
No, agree. I agree with you. It's a strange thing, and it's not always by virtue of gender either, which is interesting because my wife and I used to go to this church that we would. It was kind of like a forced volunteer thing. And it's interesting. If you were a woman, you had to take a part in the, I guess the children, the young children. When you have to watch the young children, which include babies, while the service is going on. I forget what they call that, some kind of ministry, children's
like Sunday school or something, or
no, more like watching
nursery?
The kids that are super young. Nursery. That's it. Thank you. You have to have nursery duty, right? So naturally, my wife said, okay, well, whatever. She said, however, I am not good with kids. She says, I'm not doing it unless Ted can come with me. So I'm like, okay, because I do have experience because, I had a child.
Yeah, but that's going to look weird to all the other adults. It's like daddy daycare, and it's going to look weird.
Well, although I'll tell you, there were other husbands that would go with their wives to help out or whatever. But the funny thing is, like, I had experience changing diapers and things, so I was completely comfortable with it. Whereas my wife was like, nah, not so much. She didn't really like that. She felt kind of uncomfortable holding the babies and all. Whereas I was like, yeah, I've been through this. I've had kids puke on me, so I don't care. And it just goes to show you that, again, it isn't by just gender alone.
But guess what would happen?
Someone makes a good caregiver. I had experience as a father, so it was actually easier for me than for my wife who didn't have experience with any kids. So
guess what would happen if you went with a kid to a closed room and you close the door behind you? People are gonna.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but now if a mom did that, that's fine.
I know certain ways to keep myself safe as well. I mean, you always make sure there's other people around. You don't want to be alone.
There was a big thing that just happened. A dad had 2 young daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Went into Target and took them into the female bathroom to make sure that they were safe. And some random old guy was protesting, saying, this isn't right. But the older woman, after she got to close the door, said, I fully support whatever you're doing. But it was a big thing, right? So there was this divide. There was the people who said, there's no reason any father should be doing that. And then there was a lot of moms that are like, absolutely. I would want the father to go in and to make sure the children are safe, being able to use a bathroom because this is a public bathroom. But this is the quandary. It's like there's a taboo, of course, because the men, you have this idea of the man, but then there's also a parental aspect of a man, too. A man is just not a bunch of sexual hormones. There's also a parental aspect of the man that says, this is my offspring, and I will protect it. And so, therefore, it's naturally acting in a protective function.
Yes.
Doesn't remove the sexual hormones, but there's a protective function that this is my gene. This is my offspring, and I want to be protective. That shouldn't be discriminated either, but it is. But a woman is allowed to have such liberties because we associate nurturing. So a nurturing individual would never do that. But to me, that enables the abuse because they get this leeway because nobody would say, oh, yeah, well, they'll never do that. This enables that abuse.
I think that's just wisdom because, again, scientifically, men have to procreate. Like, they have to release. So if he goes behind a closed door with a child, you already know that maybe he's not doing anything, but that's just weird.
No, but why are you doing this? This is his children.
Yeah, I know that.
And he's in closed doors.
He didn't have to
all
do
the
that.
time.
That whole thing, that whole stunt was stupid.
My point is that it shouldn't be a big deal. He's in closed doors all the time with his children. So there's no question about that.
Well, I think the media is pushing that video a lot because they're trying to enforce that we should let men into women's bathrooms and stuff like that. I think that's why they're propagating it so much. I never do that with my daughter. I look in the women's bathroom first before I let her go in, make sure there's no guys hiding it because that's a thing. Men will hide inside of women's bathrooms and wait for women or little girls to go in there and lock the door. So I look and I make sure there's nobody in there, but then I let her go in myself, by herself.
Stand at the door then?
What's that?
Do you stand at the door just to?
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's no reason for me to go in there.
Exactly. And you can just stand at the door and you can hear if there's any issue.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or I'll just take her into the men's bathroom and we'll go into the same stall together and I'll just help her go in there. I mean, there's no reason for me to go into the women's bathroom. There really isn't. But
what's the difference going in the men's bathroom, closing the door stall?
I, as a grown man, am not looking at little girls in the girls' bathroom and grown women in the girls' bathroom. That's what's different. So it's just my daughter, and we're now in the stall.
It sounds very westernized. I think a lot of cultures, it's different. But I know in America, that's why they're trying to push family bathrooms.
Well, pedophilia is not just a westernized thing. That's a world thing. That's all over the globe.
It is true, but it's the idea of what is protected and what is not, what is obscure and what is not, and what do they seem as more precious and what is not. That is very different. But what I will say in America, they are trying to push family bathrooms now. So then, of course, that would fix the problem. Well, if you're a family bathroom, you should expect a father or a mother to go in there because it's a family bathroom. It's for children and their parents. I guess that would fix that problem.
Yeah.
But again, it's like, why do we're at a situation in our culture that's something that we have to consider.
Just propaganda. That's the only reason we have to consider it.
No, of course, but everything is that. Everything's the agenda, but the question is then why do you want to euthanize 12-year-olds?
The thing is, this wasn't an issue 20, 30, 40 years ago. You know what I mean? Like no one blinked, no one thought twice about this kind of thing. And now all of a sudden it's a major issue about who's going into whose bathrooms and why. And I just...
Are you thinking that it didn't happen 20 years ago? Are you saying that now?
I think more? All right. Now you wanted Ted's opinion. You're going to get Ted's opinion.
Okay,
Elder's opinion.
Sure.
Elder. I think that there have always been depravities among people. I think that there was more fear of that depravity coming out, maybe because of the punishment, or I don't know if any of it was social stigma or more physical punishment, but I think it's becoming, this is a subconscious thing. I think these things are becoming more brought to light, more aware, and I think there is a section of society that is beginning to feel emboldened because of these things being brought up, being discussed, being brought out. And I think maybe it's possible we're hearing more about this because people are feeling more comfortable, or maybe learning that they're not a singular person, that they're a freak. Oh, look, there's other people out there that have these predilections. So now I can connect with them, and I can feel emboldened because we're a group now. I'm just not a single weirdo who feels this way. Now I'm part of a culture, part of a society. There's other people like me, and if there's other people like me, there's got to be something right about it because there's other people that feel this way. So I think again, and I always go back to this: the idea of social media, the effect of the internet, people being able to communicate with other people, reaching out across the world and finding out there's more and more people that have particular, predilections. It's giving them power. It's making them more bold. So that's why I think we're seeing or hearing it more of it. A, because we're hearing more of things happening because of the internet, but we're also seeing more of it, I believe, because some of these people are feeling more safer doing it. Like it's going to be okay. Even if I'm caught, it'll be okay.
Well, to me, it seems like the same thing with police brutality. Seems like police brutality was going on forever. We're just now becoming aware of it because now they have body cams. Like ever since cameras were forced to put on the uniforms, so that limited a lot of it. Then now we all have cameras in our hands, so that limits them even more.
Exactly.
But with the Chomo stuff, it seems like that was, in my view, it probably was going on even more back then than it is now. It's just we had no idea that it was going on. I mean, how many kids went missing in the 80s and we never found them? And kids go missing today too.
Yeah.
But we're better at tracking now, and whether the government wants to track them, I guess that's up to them. But children went missing all the time in the 80s. We just didn't know about it. Like, we would hear maybe that kid down the street went missing or whatever, but now we're aware how many kids in our whole neighborhood have gone missing over a whole span of time. Now in that neighborhood over there, now we're just being more aware of all this stuff going on.
And not just missing, the abuse level. Like there are kids that are getting abused that won't say anything because of fear of whatever, and you don't learn until years later. So I do agree that there have things that have come to light. I mean, there's been abuse of kids forever. I don't want to say that this is a new phenomenon. I mean, women have been abused, kids have been abused. This is not new with humankind. I mean, people abuse one another. Slavery has been around for thousands of years. These aren't new concepts in our society. I just think because our means of communication is better, we're learning about it more.
Yeah, I would make the argument that police brutality and government oppression is probably less today, even as radical as it is, than it was back in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would agree with colleague. Only reason why we probably are talking about it more, of course, Madison's argument is that the spread of our government was a benefit, but now I would say Madison's argument is defeated because of social media. Right. Everything is now spread out, and now it looks like a lot bigger than it actually is because of social media. But yeah, you have now video cameras everywhere, so everybody can see this brutality, when before it was suppressed because nobody could see it. But I would say the commonality is probably statistically equal, if not maybe before it was worse because nobody could see it. So people think they could get away with it. Like if I was going to be a bank robber, I'd want to do it back in the 70s and the 80s. I definitely wouldn't try to do it in 2026. I know my statistical odds of getting away with robbing a bank today is a lot less high than it was back in the 70s.
Yeah.
So I'd probably do it more in the 70s.
We all saw Dog Day Afternoon, right?
Right. And so there's probably less bank robberies today than there were in the 70s.
Yeah. Well, if you guys don't mind, I'd like to try to get some more of the chats out.
Yeah, sure. Unless you had one more thing to add there, colleague.
Did you have anything to add for this?
I have a lot, but it's fine.
Mm-mm.
You want just let me blow through a few of these, and then we can go back. Hold your thoughts, okay? Don't let them slip away.
Hold your shoe.
Like sands through an hourglass. Big big company, Pirate Nerd Mom says, big companies aren't necessarily pursuing. Oh, I read that already about the equality index. All right, let me go down here. There more of that. Dr. Toilet says there's a food company called Go Yum. Now just remove the
Yum.
exclamation. It's Go Yum food. It's highly processed. Go Yum food.
You know,
Oh,
like
go
Goyum.
Go Yum
go
food.
I wonder if
Yeah.
that's real.
Mm.
Hey, Jamie, can you check on that for us?
Yeah,
Yeah, Jamie.
Thanks, Jamie.
I think Jamie
Johnny
quit.
Bravo says statistically, boys suffer from pedos more than girls, but it doesn't fit the narrative. The world likes to focus on women.
Well,
Okay,
he's saying they suffer from pesos more.
I know what he said. I mean, I know what he wrote, but that's because he didn't want to write pedos.
Maybe he's talking about the Mexican cartels.
I interpreted that. Maybe I interpreted it wrong. I apologize, but
That's fair.
based on the subject, I just thought that.
Hey, Elder.
Right,
That's fair.
you know what? I'll read it the way they wrote. That's
You're
fine.
I'm just joking. You're fine.
I know. It's all good. My fake indignity.
Yeah. Boys and
Pirate Nerd Mom. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't know the statistic on that, so maybe boys suffer from pesos/pedos more than girls, but that doesn't tell us who's doing it more. Like, who is the pedo a male or female? But
There's got to be statistics, I imagine.
Yeah.
Well, crime statistics. I mean, the only way they would get statistics is by catching people and then finding out. But maybe Jamie could look that up too while he's going through that. Pirate Nerd Mom answered about the companies with a high CEI have more investors, statistically higher income and better sales. I am doubtful they care at all about the DEI initiatives. They just want to be as profitable as possible. That's typical corporate behavior. The CEI score is just a current way to earn money. There you go. Just another way to gauge it. Iron Man Bill says, hurt people. Oh, hurt people. Oh, yeah. Well, that's true too. Bill, I honestly, I think there is some kind of damage that was done to some of these folks to be able to drive them to do such kind of depraved things, but that doesn't make it any less acceptable. But I think they need help. And I wish that more people could get that help, especially before they do something bad. Noah Cloud says, inner city woman be popping them out with any old fool. Well, that's because the government will pay you money for each child you have. So it's sort of like printing money or popping out money. He says the more single moms than ever now. Yes, that is, in my personal opinion, a epidemic. I think that's part of the problem. I think a lot of kids need a strong father figure at home to kind of get them from being jerks. Johnny Bravo says, because women have an unrealistic idea of the man they want the 1% of their species, which is just not possible. So they get a divorce, which is inevitable. And I'm not hating on women. I'm criticizing them. Men have gotten it for years. Sometimes you earn what you reap. And women have picked on men for a long time. Yeah, I mean, I think there's issues on both sides. I think there are men out there that just think that women are their servants or, sex toys, whatever. They treat them like crap, and that sucks. And I think there's women out there that are very manipulative and, that are looking for men that can, give them a lap of luxury and, treat them well and have a nice house, nice car, plenty of money. But then again, there are good people out there, people that just look for, a good man or a good woman. And, that's the best, in my opinion, that's the best coupling that you can have.
I
Anyway,
think
I'm blessed with my wife. I'm very, very fortunate and blessed.
I agree with Elder. I think it's both sides. Any charge you can put against women, the same charge can be laid against men. Men also, they have unrealistic expectations of what they want from women. And it's probably because of the on-rise of pornography. So they expect their women to do or look a certain way, do certain things, and that's just impossible. And it just gets worse. Unfortunately, it's a snowballing effect. So
this is why I'm so pro-state rights. I don't think it's just human. I don't think it's just men and female things. I think it's a preference and a demographical construct. There are plenty of people, especially in larger cities, that like swinging. They like very varieties of fetishes. And it's not just men. There's women and men. And they like that. And it might be a heavier demographic that likes that. And I would say, good for you. So you go to a community or a city even, like a large city, and that's what they want. Why should, I guess we'll just use Elder's words, why should you make everybody turn into, what did you say, a Mesa? Arizona Mesa? The city of Mesa?
Arizona, yeah.
Yeah, why? It's like, so you want a nuclear family. You want this very conservative place where everybody's just monogamous. Everybody has this missionary position proclivity of very staunch Amish sexual tendency. Fine. But then there's a lot of places that don't. I would say that's why I'm all about state rights. If there's a state that has their predominant demographic that doesn't want to be conservative, great. People can move there and live there. There are states that do want that, and that's the prerogative of most of their constituents. I would say let those states dictate that and emphasize even, let's say, taxation, commerce, anything that goes towards benefiting the people of those demographics. I think this is a foolish argument when you're trying to say everybody should act a certain way, have certain proclivities, and that should be the status quo. Of course, we're not saying, harm. Of course, taking advantage of children, handicap, rape, anything like that, that's universal. But you're just talking about sexual proclivities. You want to be gay? Cool. Go to a place where a state that likes that. You want to be monogamous and straight? No swingers? Cool. Go to a state that's all about that. Trying to universalize this structure becomes very difficult. And you're going to have not just economical issues, you're just going to have universal problems because people have different desires. Like you're very outspoken, Elder. You want that very hyper-conservative idea, and you actually seem like you're disgusted by the antithesis. That's fine, but should that be a governmental issue? Like, should we make a nationalized function to stabilize your conservative proclivities?
No, I'll say right off the bat. I mean, I still believe, I think I lean probably more libertarian conservative than anything because I still believe in personal freedom, but I also believe in personal, consequences and, taking responsibility for those consequences. So I think a good example is like if two consenting adults, what they do behind their closed bedroom door, I don't want to go into anybody's bedroom. I don't want to police anyone's bedroom. With two consenting adults do behind closed doors is their business. What is done outside in public where other people can witness it, and I think that makes a difference.
So this is where I am a little bit more conservative in the traditional state of federal regulation. I want very small federal government so that my universal federal taxes don't go to states as much. Because I don't want to control states. I want states to decide. If you want everybody to be openly provocative in your state, I want to support you in that. But I don't want my federal tax dollars to support you in that. Let your state support you in that, and you have a right to live there, and you contribute to property tax, state tax, blah, blah, blah. So I would want a small federal government that limits all states' access of federal assistance unless there's an emergency, and therefore let states generate the type of state that the constituents want, but limit the contribution of federal tax dollars. I would love that. And I would love for people to express themselves however they want in their state and let the states deal with the economical functions to support their constituents. But the problem is that people, they go both sides. And so that's why the problem is you have too much federal dollars going universalized to all these states. And so now we have a problem. We can't really have state rights that strong because there's too much overlap between federal contributions and state. And ultimately, that's my problem. I would be so pro-state and let them be.
I agree with that portion. I think we definitely need a smaller federal government. It's way, way bloated.
Well, that would be my only real problem with federal government. I'm not going to the far sides of neocons, but I would say my big problem is I just don't want to contribute to that. I want to live in a state that I like, and I'll contribute to state taxes because I like that state. But I don't want my federal taxes to go to states that I don't want to be in. That's why I'm not living in those states.
Sure. That makes perfect sense. But let me ask you this. Would you move then if a state would swing from what you from what you were comfortable with not? You
and that would be the prerequisite. If you don't like it, move to another state. And you have that option, just like another country.
I wonder if one type of philosophy spread wider or quicker if we would run out of states for the other side, if there would always be.
I'm sure there will be.
Is every state going to be a blend, or?
I'm sure there will be, but that's because money tends to be in a more certain type of proclivity. Like certain people with a lot of money and corporations want that kind of liberty. And so they're going to be dominatively inside states that are very multi-demographic and multi-proclivitous, if we can say that as even a word. And so therefore they're going to be in states that are a lot more liberal because they want to make a lot of money. They don't care if it's gay money, trans money, MAP money.
Green.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they want to go where there's going to be the vast amounts of rich people. They want all the VC investment. But poorer states, like agricultural states, they're going to tend to be more conservative. But then again, they're going to need more federal assistance. I'd say, well, too bad. That's tough. And I would say I don't want to contribute to those states either. I'm not living there. Everybody should get equal distribution of federal supporting unless it's an emergency.
Yeah, I hear you.
And if South Dakota can't make it, then they should collapse and secede, and a bigger state should get rulership.
Interesting.
I'd say put up the states for auction. I'm not even joking.
Maybe we could buy a state.
Hey, I would say let states buy states. If you can't take care of your state, let another state buy it, and so be it.
Toilet time state. Let me get through a couple of these. I gotta unfortunately bug out in a couple minutes. Pirate Nerd Mom says humans are kind of terrible creatures, regardless of gender or ethnicity. Amen to that. Amen to that. People say, "Oh, what race are you?" Human race. We're all human. We're all the human race. We're the same race.
I'm a Care Bear.
Just because our color varies, our cultures vary, it doesn't matter. We're all humans.
Yeah, I think she's responding to what King James said, and yeah, I agree with her.
What King James say?
He said women are simple creatures.
Women are simple creatures.
Yeah, I think men are probably more simple, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a very short statement from King James. Usually he gives us a paragraph.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
I don't know what gives.
He's thinking more.
Let me see.
The guy's off his rocker
here.
Maybe he's thinking less.
Johnny Bravo says humans have caused the new 6th extinction event, and no one is talking about it. 80% of the ocean is extinct, and 50% on land animals. And 50% on land animals. Humans are terrible. It started with the Industrial Revolution. Well, I know the Industrial Revolution hasn't helped our environment, but people like to eat, unfortunately, and drive their cars. Noah Cloud says they need real men to stand up and be proper leaders. Society has reduced the family structure to nothing. Being a boss is different than being a leader. Tyrants are weak leaders. Amen. That's very true. The Unabomber was right.
Blow up Oklahoma.
Oh, all right. Okay, we jumped.
What was the Unabomber right about?
Blowing up Oklahoma.
Yeah, Noah,
well, he doesn't say that. Maybe he had personal beliefs.
Well, he did.
Maybe he was against industrialization, I think.
He was a smart guy. I think he was a professor at MIT.
Yeah. Johnny Bravo says, what I've noticed is that we don't need a boss or a leader. The world has lost the idea of a hero. I think that's what the world needs now, a hero. Yeah, I think there's a song.
I think could be conflating. Maybe he wasn't.
I need a hero.
Yeah.
Well, I've never Johnny Bravo.
I can retract that. Maybe I'm conflating the ideas of the Unabomber. I could be wrong. Maybe I was thinking about somebody else, but maybe I'm right.
So, Johnny, I don't know of any system that's ever worked in humanity without a leader. In fact, well, I guess if you can name one, that'd be interesting. I'd like to know of an organization that has 0 leaders, not a council either. Not one single leader.
Would be a leader.
Yeah, I know. A council would be a leader. A leader. I mean, you can have a single leader or multiplicity of leaders, but you need a leader if you're going to have a group of any kind. It doesn't matter if you're a nation or a religious affiliation, a political group, whatever it is.
Well, even if you're just by yourself, you're leading your life. You have a family. Mm-hmm. Somebody's leading that role in at least a microcosm way. I mean, you could say there's equal distribution, but somebody's making directions.
Yeah, you can't have 2 kings in 1 castle is what they say, and for good reason.
But does it have to be abused? I would say no. So that's probably the thing. It's like leadership can be demonized as saying it's an abuse of power, but I'd say it doesn't have to be that way.
Well, I know that we've talked about this several times in the past about those sovereign citizens who believe that they don't like the government as it stands. And they're like, we don't like leaders, and they try to be anarchists, so they go and live out in the wilderness in a village with a bunch of other people, and they have a leader. So they X one leader to replace him with another leader. You're doing the same thing. You just a smaller
Well, when there's no leader, then everybody comes together to go against the one opposition, which now you just made a collective leader. Mm-hmm. So even if you have no official leader, the collective becomes a leader because they see it's a universal threat. So let's come together and get rid of this threat. But that requires a consensus, and a consensus is a function of leadership.
Noah Cloud says, industrialization killed the family structure and nature. North America is becoming uninhabitable. All the major waterways are poisoned and the animals are getting wiped out.
Well, I will say resources is a commodity that we probably do take for granted, but people do love their convenience, don't they?
Absolutely.
I don't know
and they're not willing to give it up.
I don't know if it's the industrialization as much as it is the people in charge of it. And yeah, I don't know which, we put down that leader and we're going to have to replace it with another leader. And I don't think that any leader, any of us given the throne of the elites, it would do any better than them. I think the power would go straight to our heads, and I think we'd do the exact same thing that they're doing now. But that's what's ultimately the problem is there's something wrong with human beings, really. That's the heart of the issue. And there's something wrong with the animals, too. What's wrong with us is the same wrong inside of animals, is survival. We're going to kill each other to survive. And that's the problem, because once I have more power than all the other animals, I'm going to kill all the other animals so I can survive. The animals will do the same thing. If you put a deer in charge, it's going to do the exact same thing. Wipe out all the other species so it could be in charge.
The Deer King.
Yeah, I know. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Let me finish off here at
finish
one
this
last
off.
comment. Hopefully it'll be a happy ending. Bill says Uncle Ted, but I don't think he means me. He probably either means Ted Nugent, which I've heard called Uncle Ted, or Ted Kaczynski.
Yeah, Ted Kaczynski is the MIT
the
professor.
Unabomber. The
So I was right.
Unabomber.
Okay.
Yes. He was a mathematician who had a PhD in mathematics from the University of Michigan and taught at UC Berkeley.
Oh, wow. What was that?
And with that happy thought, I will leave you, gentlefolk. I need to fly to Coop, but please enjoy the rest of the chat, and I'll probably review it when I get home. Check it out.
Well, you enjoy the rest of your day, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We'll catch everybody on the flip side.
Excellent.
All right.
Later, kids.
Later, Elder.
Play nice.
Boston.
So it's like, oh, here we go, the support.
All right, I guess I'll take over.
Excellent.
So, there's a new sheriff in town.
Excellent.
Johnny Bravo says, Rome worked for almost 1,000 years. The leader of Rome was for the public. Well, yeah, you said it yourself. The leader of Rome. There was always a leader. You can't get rid of the leader, unfortunately, because, yeah, anyway. Then he says, the leader of Rome just kept the public entertained. Kind of how America works now. It took Rome 624 years to fall. After the fall of Rome started, it took 624 years for it to completely dissolve.
Would you like to go back to the... Yeah, it's true that many people say that, America's Rome 3.0. Britain was Rome 2.0. But would you like to go back to that idea of a emperor or a monarchy? I mean, America tried to do something different by creating three functions of power, of governmental power, which was not as much as Rome tried to create a Senate. You already know that was, look at old Brutus. But that really was not the intention. The intention is the emperor. And you got Britain with a monarchy, a king. Would you like to go back to that? You think that's the function that would be suffice? The old Roman idea? Not the new Roman idea, of course, you're right, it's entertainment. But I would say every major civilization has utilized entertainment to pacify their civilization. I think Rome worked great in the first century. I think that it worked fantastic.
Yeah, and I think it's an exaggeration, a great exaggeration to boast these numbers.
Oh, Iron Man's out. See ya. Thank you for tuning in, Mr. Iron Man.
Yes. Rome had a lot of problems throughout its existence when it existed. I don't think it lasted as long as people boast it did. I mean, you have to believe a lot of their historical accounts, which is a lot of it's hard to believe. But yeah, of course, the victors write history, and they retrospectively read onto that history how it should be read, and then they edit it and give you a formatted copy of it.
We're changing too, The way government works changes with every culture. In an agrarian society, say Mesopotamian function, it's very brutal, very different. I don't think anybody would want to go back to Babylonian, Mesopotamian radicalness. But it worked for them, right? They're agrarian people. They're still trying to learn how to do agriculture. They didn't solidify the function for it yet. So everybody was dealing with famines. Everybody was dealing with food scarcity. Everybody's killing everybody because I'm going to die if I don't get this food. Fine, I get it. Worked great. Then you get more modernized. You learn how to have agriculture better. You learn how to store better. You learn how to preserve better. Now people can think more. So now we start modernizing, and now the government changes, right? Now you look at today. Now we're talking about AI governments. It's going to change because our convenience and resources are changing. And so I don't know if we can ever go back and say this was better. I think it was good for the time because of their technology. But I think it's supposed to change because technology is changing. I don't know if I could say it's better, but it was probably the best for the time. That's probably why an empire was so successful in a time. But then again, look at the Middle Ages. I mean, that's all just a bunch of nonsense. I don't know what empire you're going to say was the great Middle Age empire. They were all fighting everybody. The Islamic nations were fighting against the Catholic nations, and then eventually you have the Ottoman Empire, and it's like this whole thing was wild in the Middle Ages.
Yeah, I remember back in the day I used to hate authority, like all authorities, and I was like, we should get rid of all authority. But that obviously, if you think about it long enough, it doesn't work. And I started just asking myself, well, what do I really want? And the answer is, if you hate authority, and you can have excuses. Maybe authority hurts you, which is probably everybody's case. If you've been hurt by some authority, some way, some shape, some form, whether by your parents, by police, or some government or whatever. Some authority hurts you, so now you hate authority because you don't trust authority. But the solution can't just be, well, I need to be the authority. I need to go create my own little commune out in the middle of nowhere, and I need to become the authority. That way, I won't get hurt again. Because then what's going to happen is you're going to hurt other people. So then you become the authority that you feared, which is you just start hurting people. And, of course, you think, just like everybody else in that naive position, oh, I'll never hurt anybody if I was an authority. That's not. If you've ever led anything, it doesn't matter if you're a manager of McDonald's, you have to hurt people. You have to fire people. You have to step on toes. You have to tell them start cleaning. You have to tell them to do things. You're going to hurt them, and then they're not going to like you because you're the authority now. But it has to be that way. It just has to. There's no, even if you came up with a different solution, you have to now convince all the other human beings to work with that solution. So if you go try to start a commune out in the middle of nowhere, like many people do, somebody's going to rise up as the authority. If you say, I'm not going to be authority, we're not going to have an authority here, somebody's going to rise up and take that authority, that seat, because the seat's open. It's there. And somebody's going to take it from you. Then they're going to probably kick you out of that little commune. You're going to start a new one. And then the same thing's going to happen again. And again, this actually happens all the time, by the way. So you can't the idea, it shouldn't be to get rid of authority. And it shouldn't be that I become the new authority. I don't think those are solutions to the problem. I think
it can be, but I don't know if it's for us. Like, of course, who's going to do that? It's going to be rich. It's going to be, your continual authority is going to be the one. If there is a new authority, it's going to be the people who are currently your authority. Now, would it evolve? Of course, but it ain't going to be you and me. I mean, we're not going to be able to do any.
Unless you're rich.
Right. A good example.
Unless you have a lot of power. Then
right.
Yeah.
Good example is Peter Thiel. Go look at what he's doing now. He's trying to leave America and go to South America, and he's trying to start his little smart cities and places because he can buy it, right? He can go over there, buy this area, these cities, and do what he wants. And he's going to create a technocracy there. Fine. He can do that. And people are going to benefit. Some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to love it. And, he's going to create his microcosm government. But, me and colleague, we're going to, do what we got here. We're not going to start a government. We're not going to.
Well, even if we tried.
That's all these visitors. Yeah, we're not going to start a government. Well, yeah, we could try, but it's not going to go anywhere.
I know. Even if we became the authority and some dualistic authority over some commune, some other greater authority is going to come and take us away.
It's called your state.
Well, yeah. Either they're going to tell us to pack up and go and force us by power, or they may just have a rich person can walk into our commune, have more power over than the whole community.
Right. Now,
so they're immediately
like very archaic stuff. You got two militias, and the stronger one's just going to take over the other one.
Yeah, this is just what happens.
Right.
And that's not counting the problems you're facing inside the little commune. And, Betsy over there may have said something bad about your wife, Deborah, so now there's a huge dispute. And then something goes missing in the kitchen, so now we have to figure out, well, there's no authority here. There's no police, so what are we going to do? You can't force Betsy to apologize to your wife. You can't force her to return the products. She's claiming that there was her products. Those are her tomatoes or whatever. But your wife, Deborah, is saying, no, those are my tomatoes. So there's no authority. So it's like, well, I guess we just have to let it be settled. Now, if you get a judge, an authority, then they can settle the issue. But it may not be in your favor. So you're not going to like whoever, doesn't matter. Somebody's going to be upset with that judge because they're going to rule in one of your two's favor, yours or theirs. Either way, one of you is going to be upset with the judge and then go start their own commune again because they didn't like the authority. It's like, well, that's the best thing to do is be your own authority, but you're going to get overthrown by somebody who has a bigger stick.
The only thing I ever say that anybody has, like me and colleague, and even colleague probably will disagree with what I'm about to say, but the most we can do as average people is try to change our local community. That's about as much power as you get. Now, if your local community, for some whatever reason, again, this is throwing the dice and luck, it gets big, right? So you start off small and you have a good local community. Somehow somebody comes up with technology, whatever, right? I don't know. I don't care. It gets big. Well, now you have the power to expand your community. And now you're going to take over what you call your outside urban areas, and you're going to spread your territory like any city, right? Start small, and it's getting bigger and more powerful. And eventually, if you're a part of that original local community, you might be able to now start changing things in your local community. That's about all you really can do unless you are elite, unless you are rich people. And so for us, that's the only thing I ever tell people. I don't tell people to go out there and say you're going to change this planet or, be some kind of earth shaker. But you can try to do something in your local community. But you know what you're still doing when you do that, right? You're submitting to the authority of that local community, following its guidelines, its regulations, and its rules. But yet you have this opportunity to maybe change some of those regulations and rules there so you can fundamentally make a better community. But that's because now you are standing up and saying, I'm the authority. Somebody has to be the person to say, this is a better way to live. Here's the opportunity to live this way. But that requires a voice to say this, and then a collective to agree on that singleized voice, and then make it happen. That doesn't happen through abstraction or the air or, magic beings.
It's funny. I've played the game, and you guys can play this thought game too with us. Imagine you became the highest authority in the entire world. You actually became, it's a one world government, and you became the sole authority. You have the least authority now. You have the least power. The people could very well overthrow you. There's more people than you, so they could easily overthrow you, dethrone you. Now you also have to watch your back because there's other authorities competing for your throne that are equally or maybe even greater, maybe smarter than you. And you think you're the smartest person in the world, right? You think you're the strongest until somebody else comes and outsmarts you or overpowers you with brute force. So then you get dethroned because you didn't run the kingdom correctly. So there's that you have to worry about. Let's see. Iron Man says, I'm still here. I was just saying later to Bill, to Elder. Okay. Showing 7 host, he said. Noah says, pagan Europe was wild. Before Rome civilized white people, they were doing human sacrifice and eating each other. British swamp polycules. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Oh, I would think so. When you get more rich, you're not satisfied with just one wife or just one family.
Yeah, look what the white people are doing right now, like Epstein and all the other white people that are eating people.
You're not satisfied with just one kid. Yeah. Of course, they want.
But he's talking about like pagan Europe before Rome civilized it. And I'm saying, well, now everybody's civilized, and we still have white people out there eating babies and eating human beings, doing horrible things to people. And that's what white people look like civilized, apparently. So
I don't know about the white stuff. I would say that's just universally, anytime people become larger, a community gets larger.
I forgot they claim that they're Jewish or something, right?
Whatever it is. Whenever somebody gets larger in prominence, power, and wealth, they're not satisfied with anything mono. They don't want just one of anything.
Yeah. Well, they are trying to safeguard themselves by claiming that they're a different ethnicity now.
Of course.
Soon,
and they'll claim a whole demographic.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's, white people out there, famous white people claiming that they're Native American, claiming that they're African American, claiming that they're Jews. At the end of the day, though, they're just white, and they're still doing stupid stuff.
I never thought about it until just this second, weirdly enough. There could have been a reason for this, because it's a recent thing. They've always had DNA testing, right? But it's a recent thing that the, what do you call those, 23andMe things?
Mm-hmm.
And, that would be an interesting, I wouldn't say interesting, maybe a successful under-the-table propaganda. If you want to generalize ethnicity and claim and having the access to claim victim of an oppressed group, all you have to do is say, I'm 1%, 2%, 10% of an oppressed group, and then claim your identity is that oppressed group, holding yourself as a victim of the oppressed group, because now you can say, I am a part of this group because I have 1%, 5%. But you would never...
That's what they're doing.
I know. What I'm saying is, you couldn't have said this 20 years ago because it was not common to have these 23andMe stuff. But recently, everybody does it. Their dog is getting it. So it would be an interesting way. It's like if their agenda was to encourage victimization, just allow the resources to claim victimization by giving everybody access to claim an oppressed ethnic group. That's all you have to do. Just be 1%. And now I can claim it. You couldn't do that 20 years ago. So it would be and it was successful. People do it now because now everybody has access. You are 1% Ashkenazi, you're going to say, oh, I'm a Jew. And now you're anti-Semite if you speak against me.
Mm-hmm. That's genius.
Yeah, or I'm 1% African American. So now you're speaking against my heritage. It's anything. And so...
Well, we're all, as we discussed earlier today, we're all Semites. So literally, well, not all, a third of the world, literally a third of the world's population. If you believe in the Noah's flood account and all that stuff, yeah, literally, and you have to believe in a global flood too, because it wiped out all the other nations. And there's three nations: the Ham, Shem, and Japheth.
You first have to believe that there was this people who were on an ark.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like the globe was wiped out.
Right.
So there's these three groups of people now, from which all human beings come from. That's what I'm saying. So a third of the entire population on the globe is Shemites.
Right.
That's right. 1/3 came from Shem. That's wild.
Yeah, so, and unfortunately, only one group gets the benefit. These people in Israel.
Yeah, one tiny branch,
right.
One fraction of a percent gets the claim,
shielding.
Even though we're most likely, you're one out of every three people you see at Walmart is a Shemite, right. A legitimate Shemite.
Right.
So they could be black, they could be Hispanic, Native American, Indian, whatever, Russian, and they could be Shemite because first, if you claim anti-Shemite, you're already assuming that we all believe in this creation account.
Right, the literalness of that. Right.
You have to actually believe that. And whether you do or not, if you don't, you probably shouldn't say anti-Shemite.
Right, and that was the crazy part is that somebody as simple as just Northern Africa, they don't get the shielding as Israel. Israel gets the shielding of saying, oh, you're an anti-Semite, but Ethiopia has the right to that claim just as much, but nobody would say you're an anti-Semite. They don't get the shielding. And I was like, that should make everything obvious to people that even the people who are propagating this idea of Semite, they don't believe it themselves. It's not a real thing. They're just using it as a shield because only one group gets the protection.
It's funny, Ishmael is a Shemite. He came from Shem. Esau, so the Edomites came from Shem. So all the Islamic people, they're Shemites.
Well, yeah, so, of course. There's a lot of people, assuming you believe the narrative, a lot of people would have they should get the shielding that Israel is claiming, but they don't.
Yeah.
They should get it.
I think people say that the...
assuming that we even believe in these shieldings.
I think they say that Japheth went to Egypt, but they intermingled. So half of Egypt at minimum, we'll even say it, a third of Egypt is Shemite blood. A third of, we usually say third of everywhere. A third of every continent, 1/3 is Shemite. Because they interbreeded, everybody interbreeded.
Well, assuming, but at the end of the day, they've perfected it. Now that you have 23andMe, all you got to do is have this, and nobody who can prove this, right? It's a whole other hidden game.
Mm-hmm.
Who can prove you're 1% anything, right? Because it's 1%. I mean, we're talking about 99% something else. This 1% is literally arbitrary, but because you got this 1% of whatever, now you have this right to say, well, I'm a part of this oppressive shielding, and I can claim it. And it's perfect. So anybody on this planet, if they want to protect, again, what I'm saying is think about the political function. So let's say there's this very predominant political figure that they want to lift up. All they have to do is say, well, genetically, I have 5% this. Now they get the shielding of Shemites. Are they really? Who knows? Who cares? But now they can say on paper, which they could create, they could just print out this document, that I have this genetical protection. And all they got to do is whoever they want to protect, they'll just say, oh, yeah, I have 1% Ashkenazi. I'm protected. I'm shielded. Doesn't matter what you look like. No matter how much melanin you have. It doesn't matter if you're Asian. It doesn't matter anything. I've got protection. I have lineage to Shem. I do think it's a very crazy thing people don't realize. One group gets a protection shielding that should be universalized, or it shouldn't exist at all.
I wonder if they have a chart for the lineage of Shem. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
That'd be something. 'Cause anytime people say anti-Shemite, it's like, oh, okay.
But I don't think a lot of people actually know that's where Semites come from. The idea of Semites comes from Noah's child. At least through the narrative, that's where it comes from. You can't use the word Semite unless you believe in the biblical construct of Noah. If you reject the Bible and reject Noah, you reject this word called Semite. That's the function of it. You can't have it both ways. I think that itself should be talked about amongst people. All these political people are protecting a group that you don't even believe derivative of that group. You don't even believe the origination of that derivative. It's a very crazy thing. It's like, I come from the lineage of acorns, but you don't even believe people come from acorns. But now you're going to shield all the people who are claiming they're from the lineage of acorns. It's a crazy thing. That's what's happening. I see Noah Klaus says, Oppression Olympics. Yeah, it's like the modern day Truman games. Everybody's living in a quasi-simulation. And they're in their own quasi-oppression. But we're all fighting each other for who's going to be either the most oppressed or the one who's trying to be charitable to the oppressed. At least the illusion of charity to the oppressed. Everybody wants to be seen as the mass philanthropist, of course. See, Johnny Bravo says, you're just explaining what a hero is. Ask yourself, what separates a hero from a leader? Well, I think a hero is hyperbolicized. Right? I think a hero is a myth. Like, there's truth in what a hero is, but a hero is an archetype, right? That's why we call it the hero's journey. It's something people look up to, but it's an archetype. Is there real heroes? I think there's all kinds of little archetypes of a hero's archetype, like somebody in a war. They give up they sacrifice them, they get the Purple Heart, right? They sacrifice their well-being for another one. We would call that very heroic. But there's a lot of leaders. I mean, there's a lot of heroes. But I would say every hero is not a leader. A leader is one that is a collective voice for a group. Leaders aren't necessarily heroes. I think heroes can be isolative, but that doesn't mean they'll be a very good leader. Being sacrificial for being sacrificial in a circumstance that requires you to make a choice of being sacrificial does not necessarily mean that you will make the best decisions for what is good for a group or a collective. Like, I wouldn't think a CEO is a good hero, but he could be a very good leader. But there may be some very prominent heroes under the leadership, if that would make sense. That doesn't mean a hero couldn't be a leader, but I don't think they're mutually necessary. Oh, I see Mr. Hannaberry's here. How you doing, Mr. Hannaberry? Says I made the last 7 minutes of the show. I'm going to watch the whole thing. Just hate it when I miss it while it's live. Well, we got about 6 minutes left. I know a colleague's doing some intense research.
I was just looking at some charts. I don't want to bore you guys with that stuff, so I'm not going to put it on the screen. I did find some cool-looking charts.
It's good. Maybe next week you can. I think
it doesn't mean anything to anybody unless they know these names.
But I think it's a good thing, like what we're talking about, because I think it's something people need to be aware of. Don't claim the word Semite unless you also want to claim the validity of a biblical narrative, right? Because you don't have that doesn't even exist.
You're talking literally a
proprietary thing.
Yeah.
And people need to know. I think a lot of people in the United States all over the world don't know that. If you don't believe this biblical narrative, there is no such thing as Semites.
Well, I think there's a lot of biblical scholars who don't even know that Noah existed.
I think they know that there's this character, and they do know that he had 3 sons.
A narrative, but right. I don't know if they know that he existed historically. But but Joseph Biden knows.
Forget that. I get that. They forget history. I'm just saying, if you want to claim this word Semite, you have to at least acknowledge, at minimum, like you don't have to believe it, but at minimum you have to acknowledge it's because of this character named Noah. And if you deny this character named Noah, what are you talking about Semites?
Yeah, we're not talking about cloud.
Call them something else, right? Just call them Israel people or Israelites. You just call them that.
Technically, they should say that.
Well, I mean,
anti-Israelite.
Like we're an American. You are. You can't say I'm an Israel. So I have to say Israel. I don't know what you call that. Like I'm an American. What do you call somebody from Israel?
Israelite.
Yeah, I know.
But if you're anti-Israelite, you'd be anti-Israelite.
Like you don't call Ethiopianites. You call them Ethiopians. Like, but what do you call Israel? Is Israelians? That's what. Okay, all right, that's fine. All right, there it is. So you're an Israelian. All right, fine. That's what it should. You be anti-Israelian. You don't have to claim this biblical thing of Semites, but that's what's being. And you know what's even crazy is that's what's in legislation. The government is passing anti-Semitic legislation. It's like, so you believe in the whole Noah thing? That's what you're saying, U.S. government. You actually believe in a global flood. You actually believe there was an ark. You actually believe that there was all these animals on this ark. You actually believe a whole human race came from these 3 people. That's what you're saying in governmental legislation passed by the United States government. That's what you're saying. Because you're claiming Semites.
It is a religious foundation, right?
Go back to the Treaty of Tripoli, 1794. You'll see. Section 11. Tripoli. Well, John Adams says something about that. He doesn't necessarily agree. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I just think it's interesting, and people should know that. It's like, regardless you believe in the Bible or not, you shouldn't make these claims unless you want to believe what these claims are coming from. It's just a weird thing. Just say you're anti-Israelian. That's fair. You can say that. I get that.
It's got to sound weird to people outside of America who have never read the Bible, the American Christian Bible. You know, as like, let's say a German comes over here and they're like, wait, anti-Semite, what are you talking about? What is that? And then they're like, okay, well, it's in the Bible. Okay. You go in the Bible and it shows like all of these nations under this umbrella of Shemite.
It's been so good that even the EU, the European Union, and the United Nations, they accept this term anti-Semite.
I guess.
And it's like that's been so good. It because of 48. Guess what happened in 48? We got the United Nations because of Wilson's League of Nations from 39 created the.
Right. So between the two white continents,
right, the Zionists forced it to be in there.
And it's interesting. They're both white continents too. But you go to some other continents, let's say Africa. So some African comes up to America, has never heard of any of this weird stuff. And he's like, I'm not against Israel. I just don't care. I'm not sending money over there. And then they call him an anti-Semite, right? He's African American, just because he's not sending money over there right now.
Right.
So he gets called.
Like, I don't know what you're
He's
talking
like,
about.
what are you talking about?
Right,
And now he may lose his job if he got a job over here. He moved his whole family over here. He's gonna lose his job. And he may be tempted. Well, maybe I'll look at this table of nations then. So he goes on Google. Looks up what is a Shemite. So it goes in there. It's like, oh wow, there's a whole umbrella. That's the Ishmaelites are in there.
You might actually realize, well, I'm Ethiopian.
Yeah, I know. It's like I'm in there. I'm a Shemite. How can I be anti-Shemite? It's like all of these, the almost literally a third of the planet is a Shemite. So we got Africans, we got Hindu people in there, we got all these different nations.
Well, another thing he's going to say is like, oh, so America believes in this Noah?
Yeah, I know. It's like, who is this Noah? And we're not talking about Cloud.
Right. And again, it's not me downing it. If people believe in that, they don't. That's fine. That's fair. The problem is that what is the United States government doing? And unfortunately, yes, as cliche as it is, it's all because of 1948, League of Nations, 1939, United Nations, the Zionist movement. Regardless if that's something that's going to get, it shouldn't even be a thing you should be afraid to say. But we are, but I'm not. I don't care. It's history. It's historical. It's documented. It's not even shunned. It's just, you shouldn't say that. It's like, why? It's history. Just embrace it. You believe it, you believe it. If you don't, you don't. But unfortunately, you can't say it. I just say, I'm anti this country. That's fine. You don't have to be religious.
Yeah, like you can say I'm anti-Israel.
Right, just
like,
say I'm anti-Israeli.
But that's a whole nother thing.
I would say that's racist and you shouldn't do that. That's fine. I get that. But that's because you don't like the Israel people. That doesn't mean you should now encompass this whole group of people. Ethiopia's involved, Northern Africa's involved, this place is involved, because you're anti-Semite.
I think it's still 3 steps too far to say just because you're not sending money to Africa, that means you don't like black people. It's like, no,
right. You shouldn't
that's
inclusify
stupid.
Nations. Let nations be nations.
Yeah, so the Israeli nation itself, Israel's a nation. It's like, maybe I don't like Israel as a nation, their politics, but I like the people.
Yeah, you can like them, but you don't like the government, right?
Yeah, but just saying simply, I'm not sending money to China, that means I am anti-Chinese, I'm a racist, and everything else. So we're 2 steps in, like past the Chinese government. You actually just don't like the people because you're not sending money to the government.
Right.
It's like it's stupid on top of stupid. But who are we? We're going against this whole ocean of voices saying. But
I do think it's good that people realize that Semite, that word, that belief. And the only reason I think it's important, it's in governmental legislation. It's in the bills that are being passed that you're going to be forced, and you can go to jail because of this word that they themselves don't even believe the origination of this own word, yet I'm going to go to jail.
Well, I know if I ever go to court for that, I'm going to bring a Bible. And it's going to be a Gideon I got off the shelf. Yeah, I'm going to put my hand on the Bible. And otherwise, it would be a Quran or something. But no, I'm going to put my hand on a Christian Bible.
Yeah.
And I'm going to crack open for the judge. I'm like, Judge, I'm included in this table of nations here. I'm actually a Shemite. I got nothing against my people. What are you talking about? You're probably a Shemite too. You may actually not be a Shemite, so shame on you. Like, because you're actually going to condemn a Shemite here. I don't know. It's just stupid. It's like, I don't need 23andMe to tell me that I have 1/3 chance of being a Shemite. Like that's. We don't need 23andMe for none of it. But I think it was. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's so perfect under the table scheme. Because of that, now you can just claim the oppressive group. Yeah, and I'm also going to ask the judge, like, you believe in the Noah?
Right.
You believe Noah, huh?
Because now everybody has religious rights. Because this is a religious claim.
Yeah.
So now I have religious rights. I don't know. It's just so stupid.
I'd like to bring God to the stand. And it's going to be like that Family Guy episode where it's like, there's an angel on the stand. And the judge is like, all right, talking to a boy. He's like, now tell me where the angel touched you. Because it's touched by an angel.
It's so crazy. Because I think people believe what they really want, and I think they should. But I shouldn't go to jail because of some arbitrary thing that even the government don't themselves believe this religious claim. I think that's crazy talk. Anyways, that's the only reason. That's the only reason I care, because I could go to jail for this word called anti-Semitism.
Nobody's going to jail for that.
Okay.
And if they are, that's just because they're stupid. I'm going to bring the Bible.
That's good.
The judge is going to watch the
You're
power of God at
the
work.
Sovereign citizen.
No.
I am a Shemite.
I'm going to get the judge to admit that there's a sovereign God, and even if they don't want to. Yeah.
I'm not a sovereign citizen.
Yeah,
there's a sovereign God out there.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, look, I don't believe it, but you, Judge Judy, do. Because you're over here telling me that I'm some kind of Shemite from the Christian Hebrew Bible.
You have to believe it because it's under your law.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, what is this? Like, I don't have to believe in God, but you, Judge, have to believe in God because you're forcing it down my throat that I'm a Shemite or not a Shemite. It's like, who's who? What are you talking about?
And again, it's not just me. If it was universal, I honestly would be okay with that too. But it's because there's one group of people on this whole planet that gets this protection.
Right.
It's like, I can't claim anti-Semitism, but they can. And it's like, that's not fair. If we all could get shielding, I think that's cool. Fine. I'm claiming you're being anti-Semitic to me, and I can get that protection. I'll be cool with it, but I can.
That's why you got to bring out the Bible.
You
bring it out. It's like, look, according to the Bible, I'm a Shemite. Yeah. So what are you talking about?
You see, this is what I'm saying. This is why, like this little thing we're talking about right here, I think a lot of people are very naive about this derivative of this word, Shemite, and what that means when you say that. I think I would say a good 60 to 70% of the world has no clue.
Well, a third of the world is a Shemite, so they don't even know.
But they're also forced to believe in the Noah. That's also what they're forced to believe.
I know, but they didn't know that either. Nobody knows.
See, this is asinine. That's what it is. It's asinine. It's crazy.
It's weird. I'm over here trying to figure out the truth. And these guys are like, the truth has always been here.
You're not. You're gonna believe it anyways.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what if I don't want to?
I don't care.
I'm the guy who would believe it.
You can get consequences for it. It's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't care. Anyways, it's been a good show.
Yeah.
It's been a good live. You guys should probably just look. There's a lot of stuff like this in our laws, and it's very strange. Hopefully it lets you see there is a real agenda. And I'm just saying this is a real agenda, but there are so many agendas that the people who are pushing the agenda, honestly, they don't even know what they're doing. They don't even know what they believe. Because if you would tell the legislation this, it's like, what are you talking about? It's like, of course, but you have to believe it anyway. I don't care. You don't have a choice. You just have to believe it. You have to accept it. They're going to fight you. Yet they're the ones that passed the law. It's crazy. Anyway, that's all the time we have. We gotta get out of here. We appreciate all of you guys. As always, this fine gentleman here, that is Colleen. I'm host, and Elder is off to watch The Mermaid or something. But anyways, hopefully you guys had a great week. And tune into this week's episode. Colleen's going to show you a zombie dog, and I know you're going to like that. But there's a couple. There's a Mandela effect in there. You probably like that too. But as always, this has been the Matrix Network Live, a subsidiary of Toilet Time TV. As always, we enjoy your guys' conversation, your input, and we'll see you guys next week. We are out of here.